subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Synopsis. When Liu Yun woke up, he found that he had traveled through time and became a baby, still in a world of high martial arts. Here, there are martial arts geniuses, genetic modifiers, and prosthetic warriors. Liu Yun, on the other hand, only has one evolution panel. Ever since we were babies, we have been constantly evolving. Born as a blue star, achieved achievements, human cub. Comprehension plus 10, growth speed plus 10%. Complete turning over 100 times, physical strength plus 1, upper limit of evolution progress plus 20%. Complete the first evolution, all attributes plus 1. And you can choose an evolution direction. 100 days and weeks, choose different props, unlock different professions, and start the road to career evolution. Enter the school, start a student career, and evolve from a student to a god of learning. There is nothing Liu Yun can come into contact with that he cannot learn and become stronger. Many years later, when Liu Yun, who was in high school, smashed one of Eagle Sauce's most sophisticated tanks with one punch while working part-time, he smiled and said to the camera, "All of this is due to my many years of hard work." Chapter 1 Rebirth as a Baby, Unlocking the Evolution Panel, invincible and refreshing article. Please put your mind down while reading it. Bray Depository, please. Wow, wow. The child's loud cries rang out in the Liu family, but the Liu family was filled with joy and laughter. I knew that my son was not an ordinary person. Listen, this cry is not something that ordinary babies can have. The most popular person is Liu Hong, who is 27 or 80 years old, with sharp features and a pair of sword-shaped eyebrows that make him look even more heroic. The short head looks very neat. The muscles on his body were bulging, and it looked like he had been exercising a lot. That's for sure. My nephew has inherited the excellent genes of your Liu family and our Zhao family, and he will definitely be the best among men in the future. The person who spoke was a very elegant-looking man. He looks like he is in his early 30s, wearing gold-rimmed glasses and a suit. This person is none other than Liu Hong's uncle, Zhao Lin. While they were discussing the child, in the delivery room nearby, Liu Yun opened his eyes with difficulty and looked around. He just realized that he had turned into a child, and he instinctively wanted to scream, but it turned out to be the cry of a baby. Liu Yun recognized it at this time, and he had really become a child. However, he didn't know whether this was reincarnation or transmigration. After all, he was still a child and had very little information. At this time, Liu Yun suddenly discovered that there was another panel in his sea of consciousness. Liu Yun, 0 years old, race, human, level, ordinary person, physique, soul, 1, strength, 1, agility, 0.5, comprehension, 10, evolution progress, 2%, achievements, none. After he noticed the panel, there was a mechanical prompt. You are born on Blue Star and gain achievements, human cub. Human cub. Comprehension plus 10, growth speed plus 10%. Comprehension plus 10? What's the use of this thing? What does this affect the growth rate? Liu Yun thought in confusion. When he was thinking about these things, he suddenly felt himself being picked up. Then, I smelled the fragrance of breast milk. He did feel hungry, so he instinctively started sucking. As Liu Yun sucked, he could clearly see his evolutionary progress increasing. After a while, it changed from the original 2% to 60%. Is the evolution progressing so fast? Doesn't it mean that I will be able to evolve in a short time? Liu Yun was overjoyed. Although it is not clear what this evolution is, it is obviously useful to me. However, he also felt that he was full at this time and could not eat anymore. He stopped eating, and his mother stopped breastfeeding. After a while, his father came in to see him. After his mother rested, his uncle and aunt also came in. Liu Yun lay in the cradle and looked at the relatives who came to see him. Look at this child. He is full of heaven. He is a good young man in martial arts. He will definitely become a dazzling star in our Jojo martial Dao in the future. Liu Hong boasted to his brother-in-law. You are thinking about letting him practice martial arts at this time. Maybe you want to do other things by then? Come and study science with me and study genetic modification. It will be more promising. Liu Yun's uncle Zhao Lin did not give in at all. Liu Yun was able to tell from their conversation that this blue star was no longer the Earth from his previous life. After all, on Earth, martial arts training, genetic modification, and the like do not mean that they do not exist, but they do not exist in this form. Liu Yun lay obediently and listened to their conversation. After a long time, he finally knew the identities of these relatives. His father Liu Hong is a martial king. As for his uncle, he is a genetic expert. My aunt is my uncle's deputy and bodyguard, and she must be very powerful. At first, he only listened to their chat seriously, and Liu Yun didn't notice that his evolution progress bar actually dropped. After listening to their conversation for a while, my effort dropped from 60% to 5%. Fortunately, after falling to 5%, it stabilized. My uncle and aunt didn't stay here long and left when it was getting dark. After the doctor who attended the delivery also left, Liu Yun's family of 3 were the only ones left in the room. After that, his mother fed him a few more times, but his progress bar was still only 60% at its highest. Liu Yun found that his panel seemed to have nothing special and no mission. Just like this, day by day passed, and 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. Liu Yun gradually adapted to this small body. Under normal circumstances, his progress bar finally reached 30%. However, in a full state, it is only 60%, and there's still no change. This made Liu Yun understand that even if he reached 60% under normal circumstances, he might not have a chance to evolve. Thinking that this panel didn't seem to bring any changes to him, Liu Yun was ready to continue sleeping. The body turned over instinctively. Originally, Liu Yun could not stand up on ordinary days, because this body is too weak, but this time it actually succeeded. Turning sideways, suddenly, I received a reminder. Congratulations on your first successful rollover. Your health +1. Trigger a random mission. Complete 100 turns. Physical strength +1. An upper limit of evolution progress +20%. This continuous reminder made Liu Yun feel happy. Just now he was complaining that this system was of little use, but he never expected that feedback would come so quickly. Physical +1, which made him clearly feel that his body had become much stronger. He was no longer as weak as before, and it was difficult to stand up. So he turned over in the cradle a few more times. It's really simple. This is the change in physical fitness from 1 to 2. At this time, Liu Yun's mother, Zhao King, saw her child turning over in the cradle, and she was as happy as flowers in bloom. My baby can actually turn over. When your father comes back, let him see it. He will definitely be happy. As the child's mother, Zhao King also knows that it takes 2 to 3 months for a baby to turn over on its own. But what about this child of my own? It's only been 5 days. He actually turned around in 5 days. This is simply divine ability. During the critical 5 days, she felt that her child was really well-behaved. So well-behaved that it didn't even look like a child. When he is hungry, he will cry twice. After feeding him, he immediately stopped crying and never fussed when he was full. She originally thought that raising children would be difficult, but now it seems that it is easier than she thought. That night, when Liu Hong came back, his mother, Zhao King, pulled him to the cradle and asked him to watch the baby turn over. Liu Hong didn't believe it at first, until he waited for a while and saw Liu Yun complete a gorgeous turn. He was like a big child, wanted to jump up on the spot. Seeing his parents so happy, Liu Yun was in a good mood. After all, these are his parents, they're connected by blood, so they will naturally have feelings for them. From that day on, Liu Yun would turn over 5 or 6 times every day. Still can't do more. In this way, 19 peaceful days passed unknowingly. That afternoon, Liu Yun completed his 100th turnover. Chapter 2 Evolution Options. Complete turning over 100 times. Physical strength +1. Upper limit of evolution progress +20%. After that, Liu Yun clearly felt that his body had changed a lot again, and he was a little stronger than before. Now, wanting to turn over has become an easy task. However, once this task is completed, there is no need for him to keep turning over every day. The first time you turn over can trigger the mission. But what about the first time you punch? Liu Yun thought to himself. After all, once a task has been triggered, once you have an idea, you can trigger others. Thinking of this, Liu Yun, who was lying down, punched the ceiling directly. It was when he pumped his fist that the familiar sound of prompts came. When you complete your first punch, your health +1, strength +1, and agility +1. Trigger a random mission. Punch 1,000 times, physique +1, strength +1, agility +1, evolution progress limit +20%. 1,000 times, this is a lot. But Liu Yun's physical fitness now reached 4 points, and his agility was 1.5, which made it much easier for Liu Yun to punch. Today, while breastfeeding, Liu Yun discovered that, as expected, his evolution progress bar had reached 80%. Although it still falls, it brings him one step closer to evolution. When you complete the task of throwing a punch, you can evolve. He still doesn't know what he will become after evolution, but it's certainly not bad news. The next day, Liu Yunhui's mother, Zhao Qing, also found out tonight about Liu Yunhui's punch. Zhao Qing was very happy. After watching Liu Yun punch several times, he rested contentedly. Liu Yun's father was even more satisfied after knowing this. He wished that his son would grow up immediately and teach him martial arts. However, Liu Hong was still very busy in the following time. He came back late every day. When he returned home, Liu Yun could clearly tell from his conversation with his mother that he was very tired. Time passed like this day by day, and in the blink of an eye, 1 month passed, and Liu Yun had completed punching 836 times. On this day, it was getting late. Liu Yun had eaten enough and lay quietly in the cradle to rest. He didn't practice boxing because practicing boxing at this time would make him hungry easily at night. Although he could wake his mother up by crying, he didn't want to do that, because recently he saw that his mother was also a little tired. She was worried about his father. Although his father is a martial king, his strength also means that the things he needs to face are more dangerous. Suddenly, the door was opened, and his father Liu Hong came back. Seeing him coming back, his mother Zhao Qing got up and walked forward. "Kinger, you lie down and rest," Liu Hong said softly. With that said, he was about to walk towards the bathroom. At this time, his mother Zhao Qing suddenly stopped him. "You are stained with blood. What happened?" Her tone sounded a little nervous, and she was very worried about her husband's safety. "There's nothing wrong with the blood of the wild beasts. It's just that the wild beasts at Kunlun Ruins have been somewhat active recently, so I had to rush over to suppress them. However, don't worry, Kinger, it has been solved today," Liu Hong said with a smile. "Solved? Really?" Zhao Qing looked at him doubtfully. "Brutal beast." This is the first time Liu Yun has heard of this thing. At this moment, Liu Yun suddenly received a reminder. Smelling the blood of a savage beast for the first time, body +1, strength +1, soul +1. After smelling the smell of blood, he actually got 2 attribute points for free, which Liu Yun never expected. One thing in particular is the precious soul attribute. After all, except for the soul attribute, he has now acquired all other attributes. It is obviously not that easy to obtain this soul power. It's a pity that this time it was just a pure reward and did not trigger any follow-up tasks. Of course, he can understand. After all, he couldn't complete any tasks related to the beasts that were actually triggered now. Liu Yun just lay quietly. He couldn't help his father now, so there was no need to worry about it. What I should do now is to work hard to become stronger. After a while, Liu Hong changed his clothes. He came to the cradle, looked at Liu Yun, and said with a smile, "Yunner, have you practiced boxing today? Grow up quickly and help Dad fight off the beast when you grow up." The punch Liu Hong mentioned was actually Liu Yun's punch. Regarding her husband's words, Zhao Qing said with laughter and tears, "Yunner can't talk to you, and he doesn't understand what you said." "Why do I think he understands it?" Liu Hong said seriously. Liu Hong found that the child's eyes were very smart, and he seemed to understand what he was saying. If you can understand it, then Yunner must be the most talented child in Kyushu. Zhao Qing said with a smile, Liu Hong, and your child are the most talented children in Kyushu." "It makes sense," Liu Hong said proudly. "I'm here to show you." Zhao Qing rolled her eyes at him, but didn't say anything else. After all, she also believed that her child was the smartest and most genius. Although they have seen many powerful geniuses before, there are many people in Liu Hong's generation who are better than him. However, even so, Zhao King would not think that her son was inferior to those children. Liu Hong looked at Liu Yun here for a while, then went to wash up and go to bed. Time passed day by day, and before I knew it, 5 more days had passed. Liu Yun finally completed 1,000 punches. After completing the last punch, the reward from the system will also arrive. Complete 1,000 punches, body +1, strength +1, agility +1, evolution progress +20%. Liu Yun is used to the improvement of attributes such as physique, strength, and agility. What he is most looking forward to at this time is the progress of evolution. Now, the upper limit can reach 100%, which means that when he is full of milk, he can evolve once. Full of expectation, Liu Yun cried. This cry is notifying her mother that she is hungry. This time is different from the usual time, but Liu Yun wants to see the effects of evolution as soon as possible, so he ignores this time. Huh, baby, why are you hungry early today? Did you not eat enough just now? Zhao King was very confused, but she still chose to pick up Liu Yun and breastfeed him. Liu Yun sucked seriously while looking at his evolution progress bar. Look at it rising little by little from 65%. Finally, it settled on 100%. After reaching 100%, Liu Yun heard the prompt. The evolution progress bar reaches 100%, and you can evolve once. Evolution option 1, eyes. After selection, the eyes will evolve once. At the same time, the soul will be +5 and the understanding +10. Evolution option 2, arm. After selection, the arm will evolve once. At the same time, the body will be +2, strength +2, agility +2, and understanding +10. Evolution option 3, legs. After selection, the legs will evolve once, with physical strength +2, strength +2, agility +2, and comprehension +10. Chapter 3, changes in eyes. After evolution, looking at these 3 options, it was impossible for Liu Yun not to be entangled. He just wished he could choose all 3. Liu Yun carefully looked at these 3 options and found that they all had the same understanding. In other words, only other attributes need to be compared. Evolving the eyes improves the relatively rare soul attribute. It only has 5 points. Evolving the legs and hands will improve the 3 attributes of physique, strength, and agility for a total of 6 points. Does this mean that, in the eyes of the system, the soul attributes are indeed higher than the others? These 3 attributes are easier to trigger mission improvements, so choose the soul attribute. Liu Yun finally decided in his heart to evolve his eyes. Evolve eyes. Liu Yunxin just gave the order to end. The next moment, he felt his head tingling slightly and his eyes felt a little uncomfortable, so he instinctively closed his eyes. Moreover, he also felt as if his energy had been exhausted and his body became extremely hungry. Zhao King was shocked by the milk. He sucked crazily and instinctively. She felt that the child was a little strange today, but she didn't know why. I just know that the child seems to be hungry more easily than usual today. But as a mother, she naturally tried her best to satisfy Liu Yun and waited until he was full before letting him go. Liu Yun found that after he felt full, the evolution progress bar only reached 40%. It seems that for the second evolution, the upper limit of evolution progress needs to be raised again. Liu Yun slowly opened his eyes at this time, and he was instantly dumbfounded because he found that when he saw his mother, there was an extra piece of information beside her. Zhao King. Elite human physique, 15 points soul, 52 points strength, 13 points agility, 14 points comprehension, 110 weakness. Her children message was very brief, but Liu Yun was stunned for a long time. Especially the last one, weakness, moved Liu Yun very much. Maybe the weaknesses of parents all over the world are the same. They're all their own children. Of course, the data alone, the soul of 52 points, was an eye-opener for Liu Yun. In addition to being able to see this data, Liu Yun found that his eyesight had obviously improved significantly. I can see farther and more clearly than before. and the distance is about 3 times that of before. When father comes back in the evening, let's see what his attributes are like. Liu Yun thought to himself. All he knew was that his father was the martial king, and he felt strong. But Liu Yun is looking forward to how strong it is specifically and what it will look like based on numerical judgment. After this evolution, Liu Yun's soul is now the highest. Of course, apart from understanding. Nothing happened that day. Liu Yun just rested silently, waiting for his father's arrival. My father came back early today, coming back at dusk. When he came to see Liu Yun finally saw his data clearly. Liu Yun was stunned by this data. Liu Hong, elite human physique, 150 point soul, 35 strength, 277 agility, 265 comprehension, 120. Looking at these attributes, Liu Yun can be more sure that soul power is definitely difficult to improve. I just don't know how my mother's soul was raised to 52 points. The mother has a relatively high soul attribute, but this is what makes her an elite human being. This shows that every improvement in the soul brings about great changes in the individual. Looking at his father's strength and agility of over 200, Liu Yun was indeed envious. With his current speed, he doesn't know when he will be able to reach this point. His shocked look was also seen by his father. Liu Hong couldn't help but ask curiously, "Son, is there anything dirty on Daddy?" As he spoke, he reached out and touched his face. Because in the past 2 months, he found that his child was smarter than he thought. He showed such an expression, maybe there was something special about him. How could he know that Liu Yun was just seeing the terrible data on him? "Kinger, is there something strange on me?" Liu Hong turned around and asked his wife. "No." Zhao King shook her head in confusion. "Forget it, never mind." Liu Hong saw that the child no longer had the same expression as before, so he stopped worrying about this issue. Liu Hong then took Liu Yun out of the cradle and gently placed him on the bed. When Liu Yun arrived in this spacious space, he immediately found his next target. That's crawling. Before, in the cradle, the most he could do was roll over and punch. Now, in this more spacious space, it's time to flex your muscles. So, Liu Yun started crawling on the bed. He smiled as he crawled. He wants to express one thing to his parents. That is, he is very happy when crawling. In this way, they will let themselves come to this bed more often in the future. Look, Yinner is smiling. As a mother, Zhao King is the most attentive and noticed it immediately. Well, it seems that there are too many restrictions on him in the cradle. Liu Hong said, "Let him crawl out more from now on. Look at this. Maybe he will learn to walk soon." Zhao King said happily, "That's for sure. Look at how much bigger his little hands and feet are compared to other children of the same age." Liu Hong said proudly, "Liu Yun's little hands and feet are not bigger than others. After all, his physique is now as high as 6 points. From his mother's physique, he could deduce that a normal person's physique should be around 10 o'clock. Although I'm only a little more than half of a normal person, I'm still just a baby." Liu Yun crawled about 1 meter on the bed, and the task was indeed triggered. When crawling more than 1 meter for the first time, physical +1, strength +1, agility +2. Trigger a random mission. Crawl more than 10,000 meters, gain +2 physical strength, +2 strength, +5 agility, obtain achievements, and be successful every step of the way. 10,000 meters? This task is really inappropriate. Liu Yun really couldn't laugh or cry in his heart. How much can he climb in a day now? To reach 10,000 meters is a difficult task. However, although the task is difficult, the rewards are rich. After all, they're not only attribute points, but also achievements. There was just one thing that made Liu Yun slightly confused. That's why there is no upper limit on evolution progress in this mission. Could it be that I had understood it wrong before? My current upper limit is 100%, and I can only reach 50 points. Is it because of other reasons? Forget it. Guessing is useless. Just crawl. Work hard. I'm the best at climbing. Liu Yun encouraged himself in his heart and then began to crawl hard. But his body was too small. Even though he tried hard, he could only crawl less than 10 meters after a long while. Then, he was carried back to the cradle by his mother. Fortunately, his smile worked today. From the next day, his mother, Zhao King, kept letting him go to bed. Liu Yun just crawled hard day by day and the time was getting closer to his 100-day feast. Chapter 4, 100 Days. To seize the week on the day of the 100 Days banquet, there was still no one here at the Liu family. Liu Yun's family of 3, and Liu Yun's Aunt Zhuyu. Because my uncle has been busy, it was only my aunt who came. When Liu Yun met her aunt today, she first looked at her personal attributes. Unlike his parents, his aunt is a truly ordinary person. All data are very ordinary. Zhuyu, ordinary human physique, 11 soul, 10 strength, 9 agility, 9 comprehension, 20 understanding is even lower than Liu Yun's today. 100 Days banquet. This world still has the custom of catching weeks. Therefore, Liu Yun's parents prepared many little props for him today. At the beginning of the game, his father Liu Hong put all the props on the table, and his mother put Liu Yun on the table. Yinner, if you like anything, just reach out and grab it, Liu Hong said gently. Liu Yun looked at the props in front of him and found that there was an introduction on each prop. Yuan Bao, grab it to unlock the rich man's career. Abacus, grab it to unlock the calculation profession. Gourd, grab it to unlock the doctor profession. Wooden knife, grab it to unlock the martial artist career. Compass, grab it to unlock the divination profession. Book, grab it to unlock the student career. Looking at the professions on these things opened Liu Yun's eyes. These professions all seemed to be very useful. If he could only catch one thing, Liu Yun would definitely not have to think about it. So he would just grab the wooden knife. Although he has only been born into this world for 100 days, he still has a general understanding of it. This world is very dangerous and there are powerful beasts. Strength is the best way to get ahead in this world. However, Liu Yun had a guess in his mind. That is, I have 2 hands. What will happen if I grab 2 different things with both hands at the same time? Will you give yourself 2 careers? Thinking of this, Liu Yun looked at the edge of the prop knife. If he wanted to grab 2 things at the same time, he could only grab the ones next to each other because his hands were short. Near the wooden knife is the book. It just so happened that Liu Yun was also very curious about this student career. Because in his opinion, being a student cannot be considered a profession. After making the decision, Liu Yun slowly reached out and grabbed the wooden knife and the small book. When he did it, his parents and aunt were watching nervously, as if they were making a choice. They also wanted to know what Liu Yun would choose. The moment he saw Liu Yun reaching for the wooden knife and the book, Liu Hong's eyes widened a bit. He didn't speak because he was afraid that his voice would affect his children. He watched the child reach for the knife and book, and he felt only joy in his heart. Because what is this? This is both civil and military. In addition, my child is so smart. If I choose these 2 at the same time, I will definitely make achievements in both civil and military fields in the future. Zhuzhou determines a person's future. If you ask Liu Hong whether he believes in this kind of thing, he will definitely not believe it. He only believes in acquired efforts. He doesn't believe in these illusory things. But if it was good for his son, then he believed it. That's how people are. If it is beneficial to you, then believe it. If it is not good for you, then it is futile superstition and cannot be trusted. Soon, Liu Yun's hands grabbed the wooden knife and the book at the same time. At this moment, Liu Yun received 2 prompts. You chose the wooden sword and unlocked the martial artist career. You choose a book and unlock the student career. Following these 2 prompts, Liu Yun found that there was more information related to these 2 professions in his sea of consciousness. Martial artist occupation. When practicing martial arts, physical fitness, strength, and agility are randomly increased, and martial arts efficiency is doubled. Student occupation. All skills have proficiency, the learning process is visualized, and the focus mode can be turned on. The learning efficiency is increased tenfold, and the understanding is tripled in a short period of time. After reading this, Liu Yun felt that the future would be completely smooth sailing. With these 2 professional assistants, wouldn't it be easy to learn any martial arts in the future? If he hadn't been just a child, Liu Yun would have wanted to find a martial arts book to study right away. With both hands, he is versatile in both civil and military affairs. My son is indeed smarter than other children, Liu Hong said excitedly. Compared to these, my request is very simple. I just hope that Yinner can grow up without any illness or disaster, Zhao King said softly. Definitely. You haven't noticed. Although this kid is only 100 days old, his body is stronger than a calf. Diseases and other diseases must be kept away from him. When he grows up, I will teach him boxing. What else can I do? Can the virus get close to him? Lu Hong said confidently. That's true. Zhao Qing did not deny it. As a first-time mother, she has also seen what other people's children look like when they are 2 or 3 months old. There is absolutely no one like Liu Yun who can crawl on the bed several times a day. Not to mention, after climbing a few laps like this, he was still not satisfied. My little boy is already 1 year old, and he is still very noisy. It would be great if he could be as well-behaved as Yuner. Zhu said, although Yuer is noisy, it can be seen that she will be the best among people in the future. Lu Hong said seriously. Lu Hong is not good at complimenting people. He said it so seriously, which shows that Liu Yun's cousin is probably a little different from ordinary people. After the arrest was over, after Zhao Qing fed Liu Yun, they started to eat. For Liu Yun, except for unlocking 2 professions, everything was no different from usual. 3 more days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, when Liu Yun was hungry, she shouted, "Mom! Mom, eat! Mom, eat!" The enunciation was not clear, but when Liu Yun said it, he was overjoyed. He had been trying to talk all this time. He knew that children usually start talking early around July. But this is a special situation for him, and he still has the memory of his previous life. Although I'm a child physically, I am an adult mentally. I'm more logical than a child. I may speak earlier than ordinary people. He'd been trying for a while, but it had always turned into cries before. Today, it actually succeeded. The one who is happier than Liu Yun is his mother Zhao Qing. When she heard the first sound, she thought she was hallucinating. Later, when she heard Liu Yun's continuous "Mom, eat," she instantly smiled from ear to ear. At this moment, she experienced the joy of accompanying her children. She witnessed the child's first words. Moreover, the first thing the child said was to call herself, and she felt better. "Baby, Mommy will feed you right now," Zhao Qing said happily. After Zhao Qing fed Liu Yun, she teased Liu Yun and said, "Baby, call me Mom. Call me Mom again." "Mom, Mom," Liu Yun yelled and continued to crawl on the bed. He has only completed more than 6,000 meters now, and there is still a long way to go before he reaches 10,000 meters. Chapter 5. The recording function is turn on. On the day Liu Yun could speak, when his father Liu Hong came back, his mother spoke to him. Liu Hong began to ask Liu Yun to call him Dad. Fortunately, the word Dad is not difficult, and Liu Yun can still say it out loud. His words of Dad can make Liu Hong happy all day long. After that, Liu Yun continued his journey. Of course, he also tried to say other words every day. This feeling of knowing how to say something but not being able to say certain words made Liu Yun feel a little uncomfortable. However, he can definitely feel the progress, and this feeling of progress is not bad. Before I knew it, another month had passed. During this month, Liu Yun discovered something terrible. That means I seem to have teeth. After more than 4 months, teeth started to grow. This should be related to his physical condition. On this day, Liu Yun climbed the last meter of the 10,000 meter climb. I received the reward for the mission immediately. Mission completed: physique +2, strength +2, agility +5. Achievement achieved with success. Achievements are becoming more and more popular. Agility is increased by 10%. It was a very simple achievement, but the 10% bonus made Liu Yun very satisfied. Now that my agility value is not high, the bonus is not much. But in the future, if the agility attribute increases, the bonus will be considerable. After receiving the reward today, Liu Yun's attributes have changed dramatically compared to before. Liu Yun, 0 years old, race, human, physique, 9, soul, 7, strength, 9, agility, 11, comprehension, 30, evolution progress, 23%, achievements, human cub, success with every step. Before completing this quest, his dexterity was 5. It was originally 4.5, but through his continuous training, it was improved to 5 points. Liu Yun guessed that the initial value was originally 1 point. However, at that time, he was a baby who could not move, so it was only 0.5. Later, I was able to crawl like this, and he naturally returned to normal. After receiving the reward, the agility reached 10 points. The achievement, rise in strength, has been increased by 10%, adding 1 point. His current numerical value is already on par with that of ordinary adults. So, Liu Yun began to try to stand up. He tried several times, leaning against the guardrail of the bed, and finally he stood firm. Then, he started trying to walk. It took a few tries and it worked. He didn't even feel any difficulty. These attributes are indeed reflected very well, and I can walk so easily. Liu Yun was extremely excited. Then a prompt came. 1 small step today, 1 giant step in the future. You learn to walk, physical fitness +1, strength +1, agility +1. Trigger the mission and travel thousands of miles. Walking 100,000 steps, body +5, strength +5, agility +5. Complete missions to unlock new follow-up missions. This continuous reminder made Liu Yun very happy. A new task is coming, and after this task is completed, you will be given a task directly. This feeling of constantly getting stronger is naturally refreshing, and the fact that he could walk was soon noticed by his mother, Zhao King. Seeing that he could not only walk, but also walk extremely steadily, she covered her lips in excitement and looked at this scene in disbelief. Although she has always believed that her child is different from ordinary people, but for more than 4 months to be able to walk so steadily, this is definitely much better than ordinary people. However, Liu Yun gave her more than just surprises. When she was eating today, Liu Yun pointed to the rice with her finger and said, "Mom, eat. Want to eat?" Zhao King also fed Liu Yun some rice with hesitation. Liu Yun ate it easily. After that, his mother fed him some more milk. Liu Yun found that after he was full, his evolution progress bar was no longer the unbeatable 50% before. Today, it is 56.6%. Can the nutrition of rice increase this progress? In other words, the upper limit of the progress is now 100%. The reason why it can only reach 50% is because the nutrients taken in before can only reach 50%. It seems that we will try other things in the future. It's nutritious. Liu Yun could be considered to have verified a previous conjecture. Moreover, we also found a way to evolve next time. Now as he grows up, it is obvious that his eyesight is still improving little by little. The advantages brought by evolution were too obvious, which made him look forward to the next evolution even more. But there has been no progress for so long, and he has a headache. Now I'm fine. I can find my way again. The fact that Liu Yun was able to eat made Zhao King decide to start making nutritious meals for Liu Yun from now on. That evening, Liu Hong went home and learned that Liu Yun could walk on his own. He immediately said happily to Liu Yun, "Son, come, Daddy will teach you boxing." As he spoke, he punched the side like a big boy. Looking at it, Zhao King pursed her lips and laughed. "How can a child who is only half a year old understand your boxing?" Zhao King said in a dumbfounded voice. However, Liu Yun was looking very seriously at this time. While he was watching Liu Hong boxing, he suddenly heard a prompt. "Student occupation. Recording function is on. Start recording the elementary boxing technique, Kyushu basic boxing technique. Record ends. Boxing skills are incomplete. Turn on focus mode." No, Liu Yun refused for the time being. He is about to learn it directly now. Instead of being regarded as a genius by his parents, he will be regarded as a monster. The reason why his boxing skills were incomplete was because his father had only punched a few times, so it was naturally incomplete. After recording it, Liu Yun can slowly practice it by himself. Of course, the best thing was that his father continued to demonstrate this Kyushu basic boxing technique to him, because Liu Yun can walk and walk very steadily. So his mother Zhao King allowed him to walk at home the next day. This made it relatively easy for Liu Yun to complete the task. At the same time, he would also practice the boxing technique demonstrated by his father that day when his mother was not paying attention. Because it was an incomplete boxing technique, Liu Yun did not see this boxing technique in his panel. According to his understanding of the two professions, if it is a complete boxing technique, it is a skill. Then you can see its progress on your own panel. Liu Yun is not in a hurry. At the moment, he is still focused on completing the task of walking 10,000 miles. He can now walk about 600 steps a day, and as he grows older, the number of steps he can take will continue to increase. Liu Yun believes that he can complete this task before he is 1 year old. During the following period, his father Liu Hong frequently showed him the Kyushu basic boxing technique. Finally, it took a month. He recorded the complete Kyushu basic boxing technique. Behind Kyushu basic boxing is a number. Kyushu basic boxing. 7/1000. The experience he has brought to this skill through random learning in the past month is 7 points. If it reaches 1,000 points, he has mastered this boxing technique directly. Chapter 6: Stepping out of the house for the first time in addition to walking at home to complete tasks. Liu Yun practices boxing every day. As he continued to train, his experience also increased little by little. It's not much that can be added every day, just 2 or 3 points. But for the little time he spent practicing, he was satisfied. As for the focus mode, he has never been able to turn on because his time to practice boxing now is too sporadic and he cannot focus on starting it at a certain time. He can speak more and more words every day, but he still couldn't get out of his own yard and go outside for activities. There is no way, no matter how strong he is in the eyes of his parents. After all, he is only a few months old, so naturally he would not dare to be sent outside so easily. As for his evolution progress bar, after he eats and absorbs these nutrients, it only reaches 70% in the end. 70% seems to be the upper limit for these ordinary meals. Maybe if you want to continue to increase this upper limit, you have to eat meat or something. However, his parents are still worried about giving him meat now. Liu Yun could only endure it and continue training as usual. However, Liu Yun was still a little surprised during the exercise. Liu Yun will receive a reminder in about a week. When you practice Kyushu basic boxing, you will gain random attributes and strength +1. Sometimes it's strength, sometimes it's physical fitness, sometimes it's agility. Time flies, and 2 months have passed in the blink of an eye. Liu Yun is now 60 centimeters tall, almost as tall as many children over 1 year old. But he is only half a year old. In the past 2 months, Liu Yun's Kyushu basic boxing technique has been practiced in a good way. Although his current proficiency level is only 203 over 1,000, this level of proficiency is directly maxed out. Therefore, he is now considered a beginner. In the past few days, his mother was finally willing to let him out of the room and play in the yard outside. However, the iron gate is still closed in the yard outside. His range of activities is only the lawn in the yard. That day, when his father came back, he handed a bag of meat to his mother, Zhao King, and said, "Kinga, break the meat into pieces. Don't put any chili peppers today. Do you want Yinner to eat it?" Zhao King asked. "Well, the little guy is always greedy every time he sees us eating meat recently. I think his teeth are better than those of children over 1 year old. Let him have a taste." Liu Hong said seriously. Okay. Zhao King also thought she could give it a try. After all, she had been taking care of Liu Yun, and she knew better that her child was different from other children. Other people's children, no matter how smart or talented they are just some directions. But my child seems to be better at everything. After Zhao King left, Liu Hong came to Liu Yun and said to Liu Yun, "Yinner, come to Dad's side and show him your fist." Liu Hong will check Liu Yun's boxing skills like this, starting from last week. Last week, my father accidentally discovered that he was waving his little fists, and he was using his fists in a decent manner. From that day on, when he had time, he would ask Liu Yun to show him some punches. Okay, Liu Yun was in a good mood just now when he heard that his father finally wanted him to eat meat. Liu Yun performed a set of punches in front of his father and sat on the lawn a little tired. His father picked him up directly and said happily, "Yinner, you will definitely go farther on martial Dao than father in the future and witness more miracles in this world. I will work hard." Liu Yun said in a voice that was still full of excitement. He now speaks more words and can communicate with his parents. His precocious intelligence, which was contrary to the heaven level, did not scare his parents, but made them love him even more. Liu Yun also figured out something recently. That is, there is no need to hide it at all, because this world is different from the one before. Here, Those martial artists are so powerful that they can fly into the sky and escape from the earth. Although those powerful people are only seen on the news on TV, it is certain that they exist. Therefore, people in this world are not as accepting of geniuses as they were in previous lives. Liu Hong held Liu Yun and walked in the yard for a while. After his mother Zhao King prepared the meal, he took Liu Yun to eat. Today I can finally eat meat, and Liu Yun is looking forward to it. After eating meat today, apart from the long-lost aroma, Liu Yun immediately paid attention to the evolution progress bar. He had eaten until he was full today, and it had indeed improved to 75.7%. This confirmed his suspicion, and he only hoped that he could increase it to 100% by relying on these meats in the future. Unknowingly, nearly 2 months have passed. Liu Yun finally completed the task. Complete the mission: physical fitness +5, strength +5, agility +5. Unlock subsequent tasks, and read thousands of books. Read 10,000 books. Read a total of 100 million words. Soul +15. Unlock achievements. Read 10,000 books. Travel thousands of miles. Hearing this prompt, Liu Yun couldn't help but be shocked. Reading 100 million words, this amount of reading is really not that big for a child. However, the soul this gives is only 15 points. This made him feel the rarity of the soul again. After receiving the reward for this task, Liu Yun checked his current attribute panel. Liu Yun, 0 years old, race, human, physique, 18 soul, 7, strength, 20 agility, 22. Comprehension, 30 evolution progress, 62%. Achievements, human cub, success with every step, martial skills, Kyushu basic boxing, 653/1000. His agility was originally 20 points, but due to the blessing of Move the Wind, it reached 22 points. My proficiency in Kyushu basic boxing skills is also over half. After Liu Yun checked the panels, he trotted to his mother's side and said to her, "Mom, I want to read a book." "Reading? Yinner, you can't understand. Why do you want to read?" Zhao King asked. "Mom can teach me. I heard the grandfathers on the TV say that children should read more books." Liu Yun said seriously. Zhao King was amused by his words and said to him gently, "The old man on the TV said it to those big brothers and sisters. However, if Yina wants to learn, mother will teach you. If you don't want to study anymore, you can tell your mother." "Thank you, Mom," Liu Yun said happily. "The child is so good." Zhao King picked up Liu Yun and kissed his little face full of baby fat. After that, Zhao King prepared a stroller and came over and put Liu Yun in it. Although Liu Yun can now walk and run, she still thinks it is better to use a stroller when going outside. The reason why I took Liu Yun out was to buy children's literacy books. All the dishes she had before were brought by Liu Yun's father when he came home. It can be said that her mother was imprisoned at home with him for more than 8 months. Today is not only the first time Liu Yun has left his yard, it is also the first time his mother Zhao King has left her yard since she gave birth to him. When he got outside, Liu Yun felt the breeze blowing and felt a long-lost feeling. Walking out of the community and on the street, Liu Yun looked at the pedestrians coming and going from the stroller. He also saw the basic data of these pedestrians. After Liu Yun looked at the data of 8 people, he suddenly heard a prompt. Chapter 7 Beast Meat. You have checked the attributes of 10 people in total, soul +1. Trigger random tasks. Read countless people. Check the personal attributes of 10,000 people, soul +5. Liu Yun didn't expect that he could have a mission like this. This task is a bit of a waste of time, and the rewards aren't that great. However, Liu Yun also knew that although this task was a waste of time, it was a simple side task. In the future, whoever you see outside and other people you see will increase the progress of this task. There is no time limit for this task. Just do whatever comes your way. The journey was relatively smooth, except that Liu Yun found that among the many ordinary people, he could occasionally see a few martial artists. These martial artist attributes are incomparable to those of his father Liu Hong, but they are still 2 or 3 times stronger than ordinary people. Going to the bookstore, Zhao King bought books to teach children how to read, and then took Liu Yun home. After returning home, Zhao King began to teach Liu Yun seriously. and he also pretended to follow. After all, no matter how talented he is, he can't show that he understands everything without teaching. Liu Yun found that pretending to study was more difficult than studying. But in order to be able to read in the future and for his own mission, he could only endure it. Fortunately, because of his previous genius performances, he can learn faster. In this way, Liu Yun spent a month learning to recognize basic and commonly used characters. After learning this, his parents also began to let him read books. His parents have no restrictions on the books he wants to read. Just grab some simple books from the bookshelf and let him choose. Liu Yun is not picky. Anyway, the goal is 100 million words, so he can just read whatever he takes. If possible, Liu Yun could read for a day, but his parents didn't allow it and only allowed him to watch it for 3 or 4 hours a day. I was worried that he would hurt his eyes by reading for too long. Liu Yun had no choice but to obey the arrangement. Read books and practice Kyushu basic boxing every day. In this way, another month passed, and Liu Yun was full of proficiency in Kyushu basic boxing technique. At this time, his mastery of this basic boxing technique can be said to be extremely proficient. If we want to talk about the gap between him and his father in boxing, it is the gap in understanding of boxing. Because he only knows this basic boxing technique, while his father knows other powerful boxing techniques and can apply his understanding of other boxing techniques to this basic boxing technique. Time passed day by day, and Liu Yun turned 1 year old in the blink of an eye. Reading is still a long way to go. His father Liu Hong saw that his Kyushu basic boxing technique was no problem, so he passed on his further boxing techniques. Taizu Changquan. The proficiency required for this boxing technique is 10,000 points, but Liu Yun can now improve it by about 10 points every day. In addition, when practicing boxing, there is a chance to drop attributes, so Liu Yun's life is quite comfortable. The only uncomfortable thing is the evolution progress bar. The upper limit is stuck at 90%. He then tried eating various vegetables, pork, mutton, and beef with no progress. Liu Yun had a vague feeling that if he wanted to go further, he would need to wait until he grew up to explore on his own. In the blink of an eye, 1 year has passed. On Liu Yun's second birthday, his uncle actually took time to celebrate his birthday with him. This time he came with a gift box. What was placed in the gift box was not a toy, but a piece of meat. When his uncle Zhao Lin handed the meat to Liu Hong was stunned for a moment. Is this the meat of a wild beast? Beast meat? When Liu Yun heard this, his eyes instantly lit up. Eating the meat of ordinary beasts cannot increase one's progress, but the meat of this savage beast might be able to. Zhao Lin nodded to Liu Hong and said, "Well, this is the meat of the blade deer. After our research during this period, we have now been able to remove the parts of its meat that are harmful to humans. After being underhuman, the effect of strengthening the body is much better than ordinary meat. So, bring some to my nephew. Did you succeed? Congratulations." Liu Hong congratulated Zhao Lin, because he knew that if this kind of thing was successful, Zhao Lin would gain a lot in the future. Although it was successful, it is difficult to mass produce. Zhao Lin said with emotion, "This step from 0 to 1 was successful, and I won't stop you for too long in the future." Liu Hong said with great confidence, "I'd like to lend you some good words." After Zhao Lin finished speaking, he looked at Liu Yun. "Yunner, do you recognize Uncle?" He smiled and reached out to Liu Yun, wanted to give him a hug. "Well, Uncle," Liu Yun called him obediently. Although Liu Yun has not seen his uncle Zhao Lin again in the past 2 years, he has seen his mother and uncle many times during video calls. Zhao Lin heard the clear voice and saw that Liu Yun was now 1 meter tall. He had to sigh that his nephew might be more powerful than all of them expected. "Oh, good boy, Yunner." Zhao Lin picked up Liu Yun and happily walked aside to play. It was also the first time that Liu Yun was so close to Zhao Lin. His uncle hugged him and asked with a smile, "Yunner, Uncle heard that you learned to read from your mother and have read a lot of books now." "Yeah." Liu Yun nodded obediently. "Why do you want to read a book?" "Because the book is very beautiful." Well, Liu Yun's words silenced Zhao Lin. He never expected to hear such words from a child. He had heard from his wife before that when his eldest nephew arrested Zhou, he grabbed a wooden knife and a book and he would probably be both civil and military in the future. But he just smiled and passed by without taking it seriously. Now it seems that my nephew will really be both civil and military in the future. Zhao Lin then chatted with Liu Yun about some household matters, and he found that the child seemed to be 4 or 5 years old. No, even equivalent to a 7 or 8-year-old. His speech is very logical, unlike the average 2-year-old child who can talk, but his speech is illogical. After his mother and the others prepared dinner, Liu Yun could finally taste the meat of the blade deer that his uncle had brought. Just the smell of it is extraordinary and can't be compared to ordinary meat. When you eat in your mouth, the meat is fragrant and tender. Seeing Liu Yun eating the meat of the blade deer, his uncle Zhao Lin asked with concern, "Yun'er, is it delicious?" "Tasty." Liu Yun's face was full of joy. Not only is it delicious, it's also quite useful. After eating a few small pieces, he found that the evolution progress exceeded 90%. Evolution is here today. Seeing him eating happily made his uncle very happy. He smiled and said, "Yun'er would like my uncle to send more to you in the future." "Thank you, uncle." Liu Yun was overjoyed when he heard that there would be more in the future. After all, this animal meat is needed for this evolution. It will definitely be useless for the next evolution to rely solely on ordinary meat. After Liu Yun finished speaking, he was busy eating meat again. Seeing him eating happily, Zhao Lin just smiled with satisfaction. Seeing Liu Yun like this, he wished that his son could be as well-behaved and strong as Liu Yun. Of course, he didn't know that Liu Yun was busy eating like this. He just wanted to rush to 100% and undergo the second evolution. Chapter 8, the second evolution. As Liu Yun continued to eat animal meat, his progress increased rapidly. After a while, it reached 100%. At this time, the reminder of evolution also reached Liu Yun's mind. The second evolution is available. Please choose the evolution part. Evolution option 1. Head, evolve successfully, soul plus 20, obtains soul control method. Evolution option 2. Heart, evolve successfully, body plus 50, gain body tempering. Evolution option 3. Limbs, evolution is successful, strength plus 30, agility plus 30, physique plus 20. Looking at these three options, Liu Yun directly killed the third option. The third one adds a lot of attributes, but it only has attributes. There were no bonus skills, which made Liu Yun feel very disadvantaged. Looking at the first two options, Liu Yun thought for a while and finally decided to choose the first one. The second one increases physical strength by 50 points and also comes with a body tempering technique, which is indeed quite fragrant. But the first option adds 20 soul points. The three attributes of physique, strength, and agility can be dropped through practice. In other words, as long as he practices skills in the future, these attributes will slowly increase. However, soul attributes cannot be dropped by practicing. Choose the head. Liu Yun silently ordered in his heart. As soon as he finished his instructions, Liu Yun felt as if his brain had been emptied. Then, I felt that there was a wonderful skill in my mind. The soul control method can temporarily control opponents whose souls are not as powerful as their own. Even after the soul exceeds 100, it can permanently control some people whose soul attributes are not strong enough. In addition, you can also control objects and manipulate objects with your thoughts. However, this soul control method also requires training. Dad, Mom, Uncle, and I'm done eating. Liu Yun and his parents all said hello and ran aside. At this moment, he silently called up his dashboard and checked the current data. Liu Yun, 2 years old, race, human, physique, 28, soul, 27, strength, 32, agility, 35, comprehension, 30, evolution progress, 1%, achievements, human cub, success with every step, martial skills, Kyushu basic boxing method, 1000, Taizu Chongquan, 3723/1000, soul control method, 0/1000. During this year, while practicing Taizu Chongquan, he lost a lot of attributes, and his physical strength was also greatly enhanced. Although the soul power increased by 20 points this time, it was still not as good as the other attributes. There is one more technique he will practice in the future. Moreover, it is still controlled by the soul. This made Liu Yun couldn't help but wonder, does his mother also have similar skills? After all, her mental power is 52 points. It's a pity that his eyes can only see attributes, but can't see what other people have practiced. Liu Yun looked at a pencil in front of him. The pencil was more than 1 meter away from him. He concentrated, his thoughts moved slightly, and then he saw the pencil start to move, flying towards him. Fly in front of him, hovering motionless. Although it was his first time trying it, Liu Yun could feel that it was very relaxing. It seems that the 27 points of his soul can control more things than he imagined. If you practice more in the future, the things you can control will definitely be heavier, and you will be more precise when you control them. Liu Yun played for a while and found that his uncle and the others were about to leave, so he stopped practicing. Uncle and aunt came to Liu Yun's side, hugged him again, and then said goodbye to him. After watching his uncle and the others leave, Liu Yun returned to his small room to read. Although Liu Yun wanted to practice Taizu Changquan and soul control method, he also knew that the most important thing for him was to read books first. Since having this soul control method, Liu Yun's daily life has become more fulfilling. As he got older, he had more free time to practice boxing. Therefore, Liu Yun began to try the focus mode. Learn the professional focus mode. You don't have to know it. Once you use it, you will be surprised. Liu Yun discovered that in the concentration mode, the cultivation speed was several times faster than usual. Moreover, things that were usually difficult to understand could be understood extremely quickly in this mode. With the assistance of concentration mode, it is easier for him to practice Taizu Changquan, and his proficiency increases faster. It used to be around 10 o'clock a day, but now it can reach 30 or 40 o'clock. This is because he divided part of his martial arts training time to practice the soul control method. It is the duration of the concentration mode that is related to the soul. Fortunately, he chose soul power whenever he could. Otherwise, the focus mode simply cannot last for so long. Moreover, the soul also has another benefit. That is, it allows him to read books faster. The fulfilling days passed quickly, and before I knew it, another half-year had passed. 2.5-year-old Liu Yun has completely mastered Taizu Changquan. He is now able to go out with his mother more often and meet more people. After practicing Taizu Changquan, Liu Yun decided to choose the next boxing method to practice. Wujikwan. This is a boxing manual that Liu Yun came across while reading. After Liu Yun read it, he could slowly practice it. Wujikwan requires more proficiency than Taizu Changquan, a total of 20,000 proficiency levels. In the past 6 months, Liu Yun's proficiency in soul control method has reached 2,000 over 1,000. He can now control the knife to fly out and attack the enemy. The range that it can fly out is about 10 meters. It is no exaggeration to say that he can now control the flying knife with his mind to attack the enemy. Moreover, no one would have thought that a child like him could have such terrifying means. It's just that he is still too young to prepare weapons such as throwing knives for himself. Time flies, and Liu Yun is 4 years old in a blink of an eye. 4-year-old Liu Yun is now 1.2 meters tall. This year, his parents also discussed it and decided to let him go to kindergarten. The kindergarten chosen for Liu Yun is not far from Xinjiang community, where his home is located. This kindergarten is not for the general public, but for children of the True Martial Department. The True Martial Division is the troop that Liu Yun's father belongs to. Every soldier in this unit has practiced martial arts. Liu Hong's father, as a martial king, was only a senior colonel in the True Martial Department. Of course, the rank of senior colonel is already very high. Those above are the generals. Those generals were indeed stronger and more senior than Liu Yun's father. On this day, his mother put on new clothes for Liu Yun, asked him to carry a small school bag, and took him to Shanghai Kindergarten. Shanghai Kindergarten, the word Shanghai, symbolizes that their future journey is the sea of stars. Along the way, Liu Yun also continued to increase the number of people checking his attributes, and before he knew it, he was outside the kindergarten. Looking at this kindergarten, Liu Yun sighed his heart. I hope that these few years in the kindergarten will not scare these children. Just when Liu Yun was thinking this, he suddenly received a reminder. Trigger random tasks, become the leader of the kindergarten, become the king of children in the kindergarten, reward 8 extremities boxing, obtain achievements, become the leader of the kindergarten. Chapter 9, Kindergarten Life, begins the leader of the kindergarten. This achievement made Liu Yun want to laugh. However, this also comes with a boxing technique, and I don't know what other magical effects this achievement has. Although Liu Yun naturally wanted to laugh, he would not look down on it. After entering the kindergarten, Liu Yun seemed a little out of place when he saw the children in the school who were crying and having runny noses. Mother Zhao King took Liu Yun to register, then handed him over to the teacher and waved goodbye to him. Zhao King originally thought that he would be sad when his child left him for the first time. After all, if you look at children from other families, they're all crying when they leave their parents. However, Liu Yun just waved to his mother and said, "Bye, Mom." Looking at his look, Zhao King thought about it. This child of my own is too precocious, and it is probably unrealistic to expect him to be like other children. Liu Yun was not sad, but Zhao King felt a little reluctant. Thinking about not being able to see his son in front of him for the next day, it is inevitable that he feels a little empty in his heart. After Zhao King left, Liu Yun began to check the attributes of an individual in this school. Not surprisingly, the kids here are all weaklings. After all, it is strange for someone like him to appear in a kindergarten. After looking around, Liu Yun found a place to play by himself. Although he has the task of dominating the kindergarten, Liu Yun is not willing to actively bully these children. What Liu Yun meant by playing was naturally practicing the soul control method. This technique can be practiced at any time, and it will not attract the attention of others. After a while, the kindergarten teacher came over. On the first day, I gave them some books and at the same time said some messages to them about their admission. It is said to be a message, but actually it is more about coaxing these children and not letting them cry. Liu Yun, an outlier who never cried or made trouble and acted like a little adult, quickly attracted the teacher's attention. Liu Yun put the book in his bag and sat aside to continue training. After a while, teacher who may finally coax the other students. She came to Liu Yun and asked curiously, "Is this little Liu Yun?" "Yeah." Liu Yun nodded. "Don't you miss Mom?" "I'm just here to study. Mom will pick me up in the evening." Little Liu Yun is so good. "Teacher, can I bring a book to read by myself?" "Bring a book to read? What book? Do you want to read comics?" Hume was first surprised that a child actually said he wanted to bring a book to read. But soon, she reacted. She thought it should be a comic book. After all, although a child does not know words, he can see some pictures. Even though they can't fully understand the meaning of the picture, they still find it interesting to watch. Liu Yun shook his head slightly and said, "No, it's just an ordinary book. Do you know the words?" Hume was surprised and felt a little incredible. Do you know what this word is?" Hume took out a small book in her hand and pointed to the name of a student on it. Wu Tao. Liu Yun read the word and recognized it directly. Hume fell silent. "We really know each other." She thought the child was talking nonsense, but she didn't expect that Liu Yun really knew him. "Teacher, please don't disturb me in school from now on, okay?" Liu Yun looked at Hume with very serious eyes. Hume looked at this look and felt that this child was an adult and she was a child. She suddenly felt like she was a child again. While her father was talking to her, "You go and play, don't disturb Dad." Like, so similar. Moreover, she found herself unable to refuse, because she could feel that this child was really extraordinary. As for how powerful it is, she is not in a hurry and observes slowly. Anyway, during the few years of kindergarten, she had enough time to observe. "Okay, teacher, I won't disturb you," she said with a smile, and then walked away. Next, Hume asked the children to introduce themselves. Not many people successfully introduced themselves. Compared with them, Liu Yun seemed extremely abnormal. Liu Yun stood up and introduced, "My name is Liu Yun. If any of you are bullied in the future, you can come to me for help." Although Liu Yun felt that this was a bit social. But in order to complete his mission, it was necessary to say this. He didn't know if the kids would remember what he said, but if he said it, there was at least a chance they would be remembered. If he wants to become the leader in this kindergarten, he must teach those kids who love to bully others. After Liu Yun finished speaking, Mei couldn't help but chuckle. But she had to say that after taking a look at Liu Yun's strong body, no one of these children could be his opponent. Mei didn't know that Liu Yun would not say that these children were no match for him at this time. If an adult with normal strength came to him, Liu Yun could easily knock him down. Several children around him looked at Liu Yun. They thought Liu Yun spoke very coolly and sounded like an adult. On the first day, Liu Yun just practiced the soul control method in school. No one was bullied that day. When school was over, her mother, Zhao King, came to pick up Liu Yun. At the school gate, when Liu Yun came out, he quickly saw his mother. His mother, Zhao King, also saw him immediately. After all, he was too obvious among the crowd. She hurriedly came to Liu Yun, stretched out her hand to pull Liu Yun, and said, "Yunner, let's go home." Forehead. Liu Yun was slightly startled. He looked at his mother and found that she was very happy, but also a little sad. Liu Yun didn't say anything. He just followed his mother until no one was around, and then asked, "Mom, what's wrong with you?" "It's okay." Zhao King shook her head. "Mom, Yunner is not at home. So are you sad?" Liu Yun asked seriously. He just had this vague guess, and he needed to confirm whether it was true. When Liu Yun first came to this world, he only had some blood feelings for his parents. But after getting along with each other for several years, he also felt the ties of family ties besides blood ties. If he's allowed to stay away from this home now, he will also miss his mother and father. In the past 4 years, his mother has been with him and no one else. After leaving for a day today, my mother should also feel that something is missing. After all, women are sometimes more emotional, let alone a mother separated from her son. No, when you're not around, my mother ordered a lot of takeout and ate and drank wildly at home. Zhao King was convinced by her son, but she was unwilling to admit it in front of her son. Liu Yun just smiled and stopped talking. He knew that he had guessed correctly. There was nothing he could do about this kind of thing. He believed that his mother would get used to it after a while. Chapter 10. Little girl. After Liu Yun returned home. After dinner, he continued to practice the soul control method. He was silently checking his system panel at this time. In 2 years, there had been great changes. Liu Yun, 4 years old, race, human, physique, 42 soul, 27, strength, 45, agility, 51, comprehension, 30, evolution progress, 65%, achievements, human cub, success with every step, martial skills, Kyushu basic boxing 1000, Taizu Chongquan 1000, soul control, 9965/1000, Wajikwan 11356/2000. After his 2 years of hard work, the soul control method is almost at full level. With his current control, it is not difficult to control a flying knife to decapitate someone within 100 meters. Now the proficiency level is only 35 points short of reaching full level. Although the difference is only a small 35 points, if it can be achieved, it will be a qualitative change. Therefore, Liu Yun wanted to practice it to the full level as soon as possible. While Liu Yun was practicing silently, his mother Zhao King looked on with a happy smile on her face. As a mother, it is the greatest happiness to see her children grow up healthy and healthy. Not to mention that my child is stronger and smarter than others. That evening, after his father Liu Hong came back, he immediately asked Liu Yun how he was getting along with the children at school. Although my father is very busy every day, his care for me has not been compromised. Liu Yun also briefly told his father what happened at school today. Liu Hong was not worried that his child would be bullied. He just told him not to bully other children in school. After all, he knew very well the strength of his child. Now, let alone the children in kindergarten. If those high school students who have never practiced martial arts are allowed to face this child of his, they are probably no match. This is why Liu Yun has never shown his power in front of his parents. Otherwise, his father would not just guess like this, but confirm it. The next day, Liu Yun took the unread books to the kindergarten. While other children were playing around, Liu Yun just sat aside and read a book, which was called Seriousness. Mei was shocked when she saw the book he was reading. She was also reminded before joining the job. This Shanghai kindergarten is different from ordinary kindergartens. The parents of the children here are not ordinary people. The children here may be smarter than ordinary children. If you see something you find difficult to understand, don't worry about it. Originally, she thought she was mentally prepared, but at this time, she still received a big shock. While Liu Yun was reading, he also noticed the changes in the students around him. That afternoon, Liu Yun discovered 3 children bullying another child. The 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl. The one being bullied was a little girl. Children's bullying is so unreasonable. They don't have any hatred. They may simply not want to play with you and simply want to bully you. The child who was bullied was wearing a small white dress, but now the white dress was stained in several places by the 3 children with sand. Liu Yun picked up the book and walked over there. The leader of the 3 little girls said, "We don't want to play with her. Her mother is ugly and a big monster." "Well, I won't play with her." The 2 little boys also agreed. "My mother is not a monster. My mother is not a monster." The bullied little girl cried out with tears in her eyes. At this time, Liu Yun stepped forward and scolded, "You can't bully your classmates." Although his voice is also full of childishness, it has a kind of majesty that only adults can have. When the 3 children heard this, they were startled at first. However, the girl soon looked at Liu Yun and said in a sweet voice, "You can't scare me. She is the child of a monster. We won't play with her. My mother is not a monster. She was hurt by a monster and became like that." The little girl with misty eyes cried, "Apologize to her," Liu Yun said, glaring at the little girl who was bullying her. "Xiaoling, let's help you beat him up." At this time, the 2 little boys rushed towards Liu Yun angrily and hit Liu Yun with their immature little fists. Liu Yun neither hid nor fought back. The 2 children slapped him as if they were tickling him, but for them, he felt as if his hand was hitting an iron plate. The pain made the 2 of them cry instantly. He's also a monster. I want to find Daddy." The 2 men immediately ran away crying. Seeing the 2 little boys running away, the little girl who was bullying knew she was scared. She looked at Liu Yun with some fear and said, "You don't try to bully me. I don't." Seeing her intermittent expression, Liu Yun continued to put on a serious face, looked at her, and said, "Apologize to her." With a tone that left no room for doubt, the little girl was frightened by Liu Yun's aura. I had to timidly say to the little girl who was bullied and crying, "Yes, I'm sorry, I won't bully you again." After saying that, she turned around and ran away. Seeing all 3 of them running away, Liu Yun said to the tearful little girl, "Don't cry. They won't dare to bully you anymore. If anyone bullies you again, you come to me." The little girl nodded quietly. "My name is Liu Yun. What's your name?" Liu Yun asked. "Bai Xiaoyu." The little girl timidly said her name. "Wipe your tears, you're crying." Liu Yun took out a tissue and handed it to her. Bai Xiaoyu said nothing, but silently reached out and took the tissue. When Bai Xiaoyu stopped crying, Liu Yun walked aside and continued reading. After a while, Hu Mei came over to Liu Yun to find out about the situation of the few people just now. Liu Yun simply explained to her. After Hu Mei found out, she stopped disturbing Liu Yun. It looked like she was going to talk to the 3 kids who were bullying them. Nothing happened after that day. However, the next day, Liu Yun found that 2 people were staring at him while he was reading. These 2 people were Bai Xiaoyu, who he helped yesterday, and the girl who bullied Bai Xiaoyu. They all stared at Liu Yun, looking a little strange. Seeing them like this, Liu Yun looked at Bai Xiaoyu and asked, "Xiaoyu, is something wrong?" Bai Xiaoyu shook her head and said, "No." "Oh." She said this, and Liu Yun didn't know what to say. He really didn't know how to communicate with children. After all, his memories of his childhood were blurred, so who knew how to get along with them? But the little girl who bullied others came to Liu Yun's side and asked, "Why don't you listen to the teacher's arrangements?" "Because I know all the things assigned by the teacher and don't need to do them," Liu Yundao said. "I don't believe it," the little girl said in disbelief. "Whatever you want, just don't disturb me while I'm reading," Liu Yun said and continued reading. "Nerd, my father said that you need to practice martial arts to defeat big monsters. A nerd like you is useless," she said proudly. Chapter 11, The Leader of the Kindergarten. Fighting monsters is not what I should be thinking about now. Liu Yun replied casually and continued reading. Watching Liu Yun continue reading, ignoring himself, the little girl angrily said "nerd" again and then stopped talking to Liu Yun. Liu Yun also found out the little girl's information by checking her information. Her name was Shang Lingling. Her other attributes were normal, but her understanding was abnormal. She is still a child, but she has 20 points of understanding. Even though Liu Yun was 10 points higher than her, Liu Yun initially had 10 points because he had an adult's mind. Later, 20 points were added through achievements and tasks. Shang Lingling is just a normal child, but her understanding is 20 points. Maybe this is the real genius. Of course, in addition to watching Shang Lingling, Liu Yun also watched Bai Xiaoyu. Bai Xiaoyu's comprehension is not low either, with 15 points. Moreover, she also has an attribute that is different from ordinary people. That's her soul, and her soul also has 15 points. Liu Yun had met Bai Xiaoyu yesterday, and he needed to ask at that time, just to strike up a conversation. These two girls may not be ordinary people in the future, but now, in this kindergarten, they're just children. They were curious about what Liu Yun was doing. At the same time, I still have a bit of admiration for Liu Yun. I admire Liu Yun for being such an adult. Although Shang Lingling said he was a nerd, she still likes to study with Liu Yun from today on. On the third day, she even brought some candy. The candy is for Bai Xiaoyu, to apologize for bullying Bai Xiaoyu. As for the two children who bullied Bai Xiaoyu with Shang Lingling, they were particularly afraid of Liu Yun ever since they were beaten on Liu Yun and made him cry. Sometimes they want to bully others, but when they see Liu Yun, they will immediately become a good boy. It is no exaggeration to say that they are more afraid of Liu Yun than their teacher Hu Mei. These two children were not alone. There were other children who made noise later, and Liu Yun dealt with them, and everything went smoothly. With Liu Yun helping to control these children, Hu Mei found herself much more relaxed. Although at the beginning, Liu Yun acted like an adult in front of her, which made her feel a little uncomfortable. But now she's used to it. After Liu Yun solved the problem in the class, he did not complete the task. The mission is to become the leader of the kindergarten. In other words, all the children in this kindergarten respect him as the boss. Fortunately, Liu Yun didn't have to wait long for this kind of thing. Not long after, Liu Yun heard from the children in his class that they were bullied by the people in the next class. So, Liu Yun asked them to take him to find those children. The process was very childish for Liu Yun, but left a deep impression on these children. Even many children will still be in awe of Liu Yun in the future. Since Liu Yun reached the level of soul control method, he is focused on reading and practicing with Jiquan. In the blink of an eye, Liu Yun has been in kindergarten for 3 months. In March, Liu Yun's reputation had already spread in Shanghai kindergarten. In Shanghai kindergarten, there is such a legend. The children are quarreling. If the teacher can't stop them, then go and call Liu Yun over. There is no exaggeration in this. Because teachers come over, some teachers are still worried about the family background of these children and are afraid to do anything to them. But Liu Yun is different. If you don't listen to him, he will teach you a lesson. On this day, Liu Yun was reading as usual. Suddenly, I received a system prompt. Complete the mission, obtain a martial arts, 8 extremities boxing, and become the leader of the kindergarten. Achieve the top spot in the kindergarten. Comprehension +10, all attributes +5. A long-awaited improvement in understanding. Understanding and practice are closely related. Being able to improve these 10 points of understanding means that he can practice martial Dao even faster in the future. Moreover, all attributes are +5, including the soul, which is a huge improvement. Liu Yun then silently checked his attribute panel. Of course, the most important thing was to check the proficiency required for 8 extremities boxing. Liu Yun, 4 years old, race, human, physique, 50 soul, 32, strength, 51, agility, 60, comprehension, 40 evolution progress, 70%, achievements, human cub, success with every step, top leader in kindergarten. Martial skills, Kyushu basic boxing, full level, Taizu Changquan, full level, soul control method, full level. Wajikwan, 15766/2000, 8 extremities boxing, 0/3000. Liu Yun was not surprised when he saw 8 extremities boxing's 30,000 points of proficiency. Instead, there was just excitement, because this means that this boxing method is more powerful than Wujikwan. He now has a deep grasp of Wujikwan and is very aware of the power of this boxing technique. Moreover, Liu Yun now knows the status of Wujikwan in Kyushu by checking the information. This is a martial Dao technique mastered by Liu Yun's father Liu Hong, a martial artist at king level. His father, Liu Hong, only mastered the boxing technique completely last year. After that, he asked his superiors for instructions to apply for more powerful boxing techniques. However, Liu Hong no longer has the right to teach Liu Yun the more powerful boxing skills he applied for. He is now almost at the full level of Wujikwan, and he just has a higher level of boxing to continue. After completing this task, the only regret is that no new tasks appeared. Liu Yun estimated that if he wanted a new task to appear, he would have to wait until he completed the most important task. Read thousands of books. According to his current progress, it is estimated that it will have to wait until he is 6 years old. Although the life in kindergarten is monotonous for Liu Yun, it is more free and undisturbed. Although there will be a few little followers around him, these little followers will not disturb him. At first, the only people who liked to be with him were by Xiao Yu and Shang Lingling. But as these children grew up, the number of people who chose to follow Liu Yun gradually increased. After all, if a child reaches the age of 5 or 6, he will know how to choose a good playmate. And Liu Yun is like a king in Shanghai kindergarten. And Liu Yun is constantly paying attention to the attributes of these children. He found that as age increased, the attributes of many children changed. Basic attributes, such as physique and strength, grow normally. They will increase by 1 or 2 points in a year. However, there will be some children whose understanding and soul will soar like a sudden change. The magnitude of the surge is about 10 points. Liu Yun had a lament that if he didn't have the help of the system, he would definitely not be able to compete with these geniuses in the next 10 years. But now, when it comes to geniuses, let alone Shanghai kindergarten, Liu Yun is confident that there will be no one in Kyushu who is more talented than him. Even if there is someone whose attributes, such as understanding and soul, are higher than mine now, he will be able to overtake others in a corner in the future. It was the cold winter and the spring festival of the year when Liu Yun was 5 years old. When Liu Hong came back today, he told Liu Yun something. Yunner, get ready. I'll take you to visit an old man in 2 days. Chapter 12, The Businessman. Which grandpa are you visiting? Liu Yun asked doubtfully. Liu Yun is now 5.5 years old, and he has a fairly good understanding of his family situation. He has no grandparents, no grandparents. Liu Yun didn't know exactly how or when he passed away, but parents seem reluctant to mention it. In the past few years, the Liu family has not lost any relatives. After all, the only relative worth visiting is his uncle's house, but his uncle and the others are also extremely busy, so he has never been to his uncle's house in all his life. Now he suddenly said that he was going to visit an old grandfather. Liu Yun really couldn't figure out who he was. Your classmate's grandfather. You will understand when the time comes, Liu Hong said with a smile. Oh, Liu Yun couldn't help but feel a little confused. His classmate's grandfather? Which classmate is it? Why should my father take me to visit? Could it be that this old man has a very high status and wants to meet his prodigy? Liu Yun didn't think about it carefully. Anyway, after meeting him, he would naturally know who his grandfather was. Father said it would take 2 days, and it really did take 2 days. 2 days later, Liu Yun put on new clothes and left home with his father Liu Hong. When I got outside, I got in my father's car and headed east of the city. The place Liu Yun and the others are here is called Zhucheng. The community where they live is located in the south of the city. As for the east side of the city, according to Liu Yun's understanding, some dignitaries live there. This world is different from the Earth China in Liu Yun's previous life. Under Kyushu, 54 cities govern Kyushu. These 54 important cities have other towns under their jurisdiction, but these 54 cities are basically the places with the richest resources in Kyushu. The resources here are not just economic resources, but also martial Dao resources. The most important thing is this martial Dao resource. Zhucheng is one of these 54 cities, so the martial Dao resources for Zhucheng are relatively abundant. Liu Yun couldn't help but wonder about the big shot in the east of Zhucheng City. Could he be a general? Or Martial Emperor? In this world, important people who are respected by human venerable have strength in addition to their official positions and military ranks. The one who is stronger than Liu Yun's father is the Martial Emperor. Half an hour later, they finally arrived at a community in the east of the city. This community is also guarded by very powerful bodyguards. Liu Yun could tell the information about these bodyguards at a glance. Their average strength was about 100. Liu Hong stopped the car, got out of the car with Liu Yun and the gifts, and walked to the gate. The bodyguard here asked, "Who are you here for? Do you have any ID?" Liu Hong didn't waste any words, but silently took out a certificate. The other party took it, checked it, returned it to Liu Hong, stretched out his hand and said, "Please come in." After Liu Hong led Liu Yun through the gate and entered the community, Liu Yun discovered that the houses inside were basically villas instead of apartment buildings. Finally, his father took him to apartment building number 22. Liu Hong knocked on the door, and soon someone opened the door. The person who opened the door was a middle-aged man in his 40s. He has a square face and a short beard. When he saw Liu Hong, a smile immediately appeared on his face. "Liu Hong, you're here. This is Liu Yun, right? Come in quickly." "Liu Hong, this is Uncle Shang." Liu Hong introduced. "Hello, Uncle Shang." Liu Yun greeted obediently. Liu Yun also knew who this person was at this time. The surname is Shang, and he should be Shang Lingling's father. Liu Hong said that he came to visit an old grandfather, who should be Shang Lingling's grandfather. Liu Yun also checked the attributes of Shang Lingling's father at this time. Shang Huai, elite humanity physique, 130 point soul, 35 strength, 198 agility, 221 comprehension, 80 after reading these attributes. Liu Yun also had a preliminary understanding of Shang Huai's strength. Obviously, there is still a big gap between him and his father. Entering the villa, Liu Yun quickly noticed Shang Lingling. Besides Shang Lingling, there are other people. There was one who looked a bit like Shang Huai, but a few years younger, and there were several women in their 30s. Of course, what caught Liu Yun's attention the most was the old man in mouse suit over there. The old man has gray hair and must be in his 60s, nearly 70. However, his eyes looked energetic. How could he look old? The most terrifying thing was his attributes. Liu Yun took one look and was frightened. Shang Yangming, spirit, body, human physique, 354 soul, 45 strength, 755 agility, 693 comprehension, 110. These attributes are simply abnormal. With the power of 755, Liu Yun was thinking, how terrifying would this old man's punch be? When Liu Yun checked the old man's attributes, he also noticed Liu Yun. The look he looked at Liu Yun was very kind, but it made Liu Yun feel tremendous pressure. He smiled, waved to Liu Yun, and said, "My child, you must be Liu Yun. Come to Grandpa Shang." Liu Yun stepped forward and shouted in neither humble nor condescending tone, "Hello, Grandpa Shang. A good boy, energetic and not afraid of life." He said, then looked at Liu Hong and said, "You have given birth to a good son. Shang Lao, you can't praise him. It would be bad if he floats." Liu Hong said respectfully to Shang Yangming, "You don't have to be so formal. This old guy of mine has retired, and you're no longer my subordinate. Take a seat." Shang Yangming pointed to the seat next to him and said, after talking to Liu Hong, he turned to Liu Yun and said, "Grandpa Shang has heard a lot about you in the kindergarten. Yunner, do you want to join the True Martial Club in the future?" "I don't know." Liu Yun shook his head. "I don't know. Why?" "By joining the True Martial Division, you can become stronger and protect Kyushu." Shang Yangming said, "I'm still young and don't know what I'm interested in yet. I won't know until I grow up, so whether I want to join the True Martial Club or not, I won't know until then." Liu Yun said seriously, "The little guy is really smart." As others said, "You are really a little adult." Shang Yangming said with a smile, "If I don't join the True Martial Department, will Grandpa Shang blame me?" Liu Yun asked, "Everyone has his own path. As long as you don't choose the wrong path, Grandpa Shang will naturally not blame you. Let's not talk about this. Tell Grandpa Shang, what books did you read in school?" Shang Yangming transferred topics said, "I can read some books of all kinds." "Oh, you're not reading a specific type of book?" "Even if those books are not useful to me now, I believe that the knowledge is useful and will definitely be useful to me in the future. Okay, Grandpa Shang likes this. Shang Yangming and Liu Yun answer questions and answers, and Shang Yangming's love for Liu Yun was beyond words. So much so that no one else could get a word in between them. It wasn't until dinner that Shang Yangming stopped talking to Liu Yun. Shang Lingling, who had been standing by, had eyes full of admiration. She admired Liu Yun very much for being able to make her grandfather like him so much. Chapter 13, Generous Gifts from Merchants. The other people in the merchant were quite polite, and through their conversations, Liu Yun also learned that Shang Yangming's two sons were also in the true martial department. However, his two sons have slightly lower status than Liu Hong in the true martial department. Shang Yangming did not use his own prestige and strength to seek a high official position for his son. After dinner, Shang Yangming turned to his eldest son Shang Huai and said, "Go get that thing." "Yes, father." Shang Huai took the order and went down quickly. After a while, Shang Huai came back, brought a small box that he had prepared, and handed it to his father Shang Yangming. Shang Yangming handed the box to Liu Yun and said, "Child, this is a little gift from Grandpa Shang to you. Accept it." "Grandpa Shang, I can't accept your gift." Liu Yun quickly refused. He didn't get paid for his merits, so he only got to know people from the merchants, so he couldn't accept big gifts. Although the box has not been opened, Liu Yun can feel that there is definitely a very important gift inside. Liu Hong also quickly said to Shang Yangming at this time, "Mr. Shang, how can Liu Yun, a child, accept any gifts from you?" "I don't want to hear what you are saying, old man. It's because he is a child I want to give him a gift." Shang Yangming first replied to Liu Hong, and then said to Liu Yun gently, "Yuner, you must accept this gift. It is a gift to thank you for helping Lingling." "Shall I help Lingling? Do I have any?" Liu Yun looked confused. He just stopped Shang Lingling from bullying others. Is this considered helping her? "Of course." Shang Yangming nodded, and then said, "You stopped Lingling and others for bullying. I heard that the child they bullied was named by Xiaoyu. The parents of that child were both great heroes. Lingling bullied the children of heroes. You made a big mistake. You stopped her. Didn't you just help her?" "That's it." After Shang Yangming's explanation, Liu Yun felt it was reasonable. "Then accept Grandpa Shang's gift." Shang Yangming said with a smile, "Thank you, Grandpa Shang." This is what Shang Yangming said. If Liu Yun refuses to accept it, he will not give him face. After Liu Yun took the small box, he weighed the weight inside. It felt like a book. "Yuner, go play with Lingling. Grandpa Shang and your father have something to talk about." Shang Yangming said to Liu Yun seriously. "Yeah." Liu Yun nodded and walked over obediently. Shang Lingling also took him to a room nearby. "There are some wooden stakes here." Shang Lingling said in a sweet voice, "This is where my dad and the others practice. My dad said that when I'm 6 years old, I can practice with them." "Bookworm, you want to practice together?" "Boxing?" "Yes." Liu Yundao said, not only can he practice, but with his current strength, he can easily defeat even some adult beginners. This is because he doesn't use his soul power. "When the time comes, I will definitely be better than you," Shang Lingling said confidently. "Then come on," Liu Yun said with a smile. That's the tone again." Shang Lingling glared at him fiercely. "Is it wrong for me to cheer for you?" Liu Yun said, dumbfounded. "You can come to my house to practice boxing from now on. My grandfather is very good at transcendent level. He can teach you," Shang Lingling said. "Aren't you afraid that after your grandfather teaches me, I will be better than you?" Liu Yun asked. Shang Lingling didn't know what to say. She didn't know much. She just wanted Liu Yun to come here to study with her. But the child's competitive spirit made her not want Liu Yun to be better than herself. Liu Yun left her thinking where she was and walked into the wooden pile in front. He approached the stake and gave a light punch. At this time, a prompt sounded. "The first time you use a wooden dummy, your strength +5. Trigger a random mission. Punch the wooden dummy 10,000 times. Gain +10 strength, +10 agility, and bonus punch strength." Is there such a mission? It seems that after returning home, I have to ask my dad to prepare a wooden mannequin. Liu Yun thought to himself. After that, he tried other tools here, but unfortunately, none of them triggered rewards. After a while, Liu Hong's voice came from over there. "Yuner, it's time for us to go." "I'm leaving." Liu Yun and Shang Lingling said before walking towards the living room. Shang Lingling also came over. After Liu Yun came out, Lu Hong said to Liu Yun, "Goodbye to Grandpa Shang and Uncle Shang." "Grandpa Shang, Uncle Shang, second uncle, we are leaving." Liu Yun politely said goodbye to several people here. Liu Yun didn't say hello to Shang Lingling's mother and others. It wasn't because he was discriminating, but because they were not here now and were probably busy with other things. "Yun'er, if you want to come to Grandpa Shang's house in the future, just come with Lingling," Shang Yangming said kindly. Yes, whether Liu Yun will come or not is another matter, but he must agree at this time. Then, he and his father left the business. Outside the community, on the way home, Liu Yun said to Lu Hong, "Dad, I want a wooden man steak. Can you prepare one for me?" "Wooden dummy? Do you want to practice boxing with the wooden dummy?" Lu Hong asked. "Yeah." Liu Yun nodded. "Okay, Dad will prepare it for you tomorrow." Lu Hong didn't ask any more questions. After all, he also knows what his child's boxing level is. It is indeed necessary to prepare a wooden dummy for Liu Yun, especially the gift that Shang Yangming gave Liu Yun today. There is also a great need for wooden dummies. Some boxing techniques do not require wooden dummies, but for some boxing techniques, if practiced with wooden dummies to assist, the speed of improvement will increase a lot. Back home, Liu Yun opened the gift box in his room. Liu Yun was not surprised at all when he opened the box and saw what was inside. There was a book lying quietly inside, and it turned out to be a boxing book. This boxing technique is called Fengyun Fist. A new boxing technique for Liu Yun not only means increasing his methods, but also increasing his attributes. Because in the process of practicing a skill, attributes can be randomly dropped. After the skill is fully leveled, it will no longer drop. Liu Yun then began to read the boxing technique carefully. The next day, he asked his father about the origin of this boxing technique. After asking, I found out that this Fengyun Fist is the family martial arts of the merchant, and the merchant usually does not spread it to others. Shang Yangming actually gave it to Liu Yun, a boxing technique that was not passed down to the outside world. Liu Yun once again felt the weight of this gift. It seemed that he would need to thank the merchant properly in the future. However, now he just needs to study hard. Liu Yun spent a day reading Fengyun Fist. After reading and practicing, the proficiency of this boxing technique also appeared on the panel. Wind and Cloud Fist. 0 for 3,000. It is on the same level as 8 extremities boxing. Liu Yun did not look down on this boxing technique because of this. After all, he knew very well that for such a level of boxing technique, his father would have to apply to the head of the true martial department to obtain it. The merchant gave it directly to himself. Chapter 14 Accident. When Liu Yun tried to practice Fengyun boxing, he found that his proficiency increased slowly with normal practice. However, when I used wooden dummies to practice, the speed of increase was obviously doubled. He then tried 8 extremities boxing on a wooden dummy, but his proficiency did not change. Finally, it was confirmed that it was effective when practicing Fengyun Fist. Therefore, when Liu Yun was about to punch the wooden dummy, he would practice Fengyun Fist, and the rest of the time, he would practice 8 extremities boxing and Wuji Fist. In this way, a winter vacation passed. Liu Yun finally practiced Wujikwen to the full level. 8 extremities boxing reached 8572/3000 proficiency, and Fengyun Fist reached 2311/3000. When school started, Liu Yun's attributes improved to a certain extent. Liu Yun, 5 years old, race, human, physique, 62, soul, 32, strength, 66, agility, 68, comprehension, 40, evolution progress, 70%, achievements, human cub, success with every step, top leader in kindergarten. Martial skills, Kyushu basic boxing, full level, Taizu Chongquan, full level, soul control method, full level, Wujikwen, full level, 8 extremities boxing, 8572/3000, Fengyun Fist, 2311/3000. The evolution points are stuck at 70%, and there is no increase even if he eats the animal meat donated by his uncle and the others. Liu Yun only knew that he needed to eat something that contained more energy, but he didn't know what it was. After school started, Liu Yun spent less time practicing boxing and more time reading. In the blink of an eye, school started for a month. On this day, when Liu Yun was out of school, as always, he was ready to walk out of school and go home with his mother. However, when she went out, she found Bai Xiaoyu looking for her mother at the school gate. The teacher here also seemed a little anxious and was on the phone over there. Huh, that's weird. Liu Yun was deeply impressed by Bai Xiaoyu's mother because she did look a bit scary. There are several horrible scars on the face, which is daunting. She was always the first to pick up her children, and it almost never happened that she didn't see her after school. When Liu Yun was thinking about this, Zhao King came over, took Liu Yun's little hand and said, "Yuner, let's go." "Mom, let's wait for a while." Liu Yun said, what's wrong with Yuner?" Zhao King asked doubtfully. Asked Bai Xiaoyu what's going on with her. Liu Yun pointed at Bai Xiaoyu and whispered. He said it quietly because he was worried that Bai Xiaoyu would hear it. The reason why Liu Yun wanted to ask what was going on was that Bai Xiaoyu and he were indeed relatively close, and the other was because of what Mr. Shang said when he went to the merchant this time. Bai Xiaoyu's parents are both heroes. They should be heroes who fight against wild beasts. Then what happened to her? If I can help, I can still help. Okay. Zhao King now also knows who in the school is closer to her son. She had an impression of the little girl by Xiaoyu, and from one glance, she guessed that there was an emergency at home. If she can help, she can help. Liu Yun and the others walked over. After their teacher, Hu Mei, hung up the phone, Liu Yun asked, "Teacher, what's wrong? Can't I contact Xiaoyu's mother?" "Yeah." Hu Mei nodded, then looked at Bai Xiaoyu and said, "Xiaoyu, wait here for a while, and the teacher will take you home." "Teacher, how about we send her back?" Liu Yun said to Hu Mei. This, Hu Mei hesitated. After all, if the child could not be sent home safely, her responsibility would be huge. "Teacher, Yuner and I will send her back together. Don't worry, nothing will happen." Zhao King said seriously. "Then after you deliver it, ask Xiaoyu's parents to call me." Hu Mei said, "Okay." Zhao King agreed readily. Then she looked at Bai Xiaoyu and said, "Xiaoyu, and is taking you home. Do you know the way back to your home?" "I know, thank you, and..." Bai Xiaoyu has a good impression of Zhao King. After all, she is Liu Yun's mother. So, Bai Xiaoyu showed the way, and Liu Yun and Zhao King went home with her. On the way, Zhao King asked, "Xiaoyu, did your mother say anything to you when she sent you to school today?" Bai Xiaoyu shook her head and said, "No, Mom doesn't like to talk." "Oh," Zhao King responded, lost in thought. When Zhao King agreed to send her, he not only promised his son, but also felt that Hu Mei should not do this. Indeed, in terms of responsibility, this is Hu Mei's responsibility. However, Zhao King felt that this matter was not simple, and Hu Mei was just an ordinary teacher. He doesn't have any special abilities. If he encounters danger, it might just put her in crisis. The three of them walked for a while and soon came to a deserted alley. The facilities here are old, and there is no monitoring. After taking a few steps, Zhao King suddenly reminded Liu Yun, "Yuner, be careful." As soon as she finished speaking, she heard a cold voice coming from around her. "Not a teacher from Shanghai kindergarten? Who are you?" As the sound came, people jumped from the rooftops on both sides. Liu Yun took one look at these people when they came out, and his expression suddenly darkened. The strength of these people is about 100. Can he and his mother handle a force of about 100? With my 66 strength and these boxing skills, do I have a chance? Liu Yun thought to himself. He glanced at his mother again and found that her mother was very calm. She said calmly, "You don't need to know who I am. However, who you are, I guess you have to go into the bureau to explain." After Zhao King finished speaking, Liu Yun only heard a few small screams. Then everyone around him fell to the ground in pain. There were 7 people in total, and everyone was wailing on the ground, as if they had been poisoned. Liu Yun was shocked. This was the first time he saw someone take action in reality. Usually, I see it on TV. He didn't expect that his mother was so strong. It's the soul. The strongest thing about mother is her soul, 52 points. Obviously, the mother also has the means to control things to fly. Those screams just now were the sounds of something sharp cutting through the air. This should be the so-called hidden weapon, and this hidden weapon should be poisoned. Those who fell looked at Zhao King in horror and murmured, You. Are you a soul control master? We have no grievances against you, and we hope you will not come to swim in this muddy water. Although these people were poisoned, they were still threatening Zhao King. Zhao King ignored them and just silently took out a mobile phone. She dialed the phone and was quickly connected. Is it Captain Yi? Please bring a few people to know. 6th Street in Guanshan District. I arrested a few people here. They should be people from the Shadow Organization. Zhao King said. Okay. A capable female voice came from over there. Zhao King hung up the phone and said to Liu Yun and Bai Xiaoyu, don't be afraid. Let's wait here for a while. The people from the 9th inning will be here soon. Chapter 15 Soul Controller. Yes. Liu Yun nodded. He saw that his mother was so powerful and easily subdued these people, so naturally he was not afraid anymore. Bai Xiaoyu, on the other hand, was still frightened and her body was trembling. It wasn't until Liu Yun held her hand that she wasn't so scared. These martial artists on the ground could see that they were very afraid of the 9th inning. They had been threatening Zhao King verbally, hoping that she would let them go. But how could Zhao King be afraid of them? He just faced these people coldly and waited for the arrival of the 9th round. Regarding the 9th game, Liu Yun has heard about it for a long time. On TV, as long as it is about martial artists, you can basically see this 9th inning. The 9th round is different from the true martial division. The true martial division faces the beasts outside, while the 9th round faces the martial artist. After all, the ancients said, chivalrous people use martial arts to break the law, and Confucian scholars use literature to break the law. When people have great power, it is inevitable that some people will use this power for evil purposes. Therefore, there needs to be a department responsible for managing these things to prevent some martial artists from doing evil. The 9th inning was built on this. Liu Yun and the others didn't wait long before a car drove towards them. Several people got out of the car, the first of whom was a woman who looked to be in her mid-20s. He looks very capable and heroic. This person is Captain Yi, whom Zhao King mentioned just now. When she came over and saw Zhao King, she was surprised and said, did you actually come out with your child? What's going on? I don't know about this yet. I guess these people will know. I was just. Zhao King pointed to the people lying on the ground and then told them about bringing Bai Xiaoyu out. After Captain Yi heard this, his expression darkened. Are these people causing trouble for Bai Xiaoyu's family? She immediately turned around and ordered the people behind her to take them all back for interrogation. I'll go to Bai's house to check what's going on. Yes, Captain. Others in the 9th round took the order and quickly stepped forward to escort all the martial artists up. Those people went back first, and Captain Yi said to Zhao King, why don't you take the children and they go back to your house first, and I will investigate on my own. Let's go and investigate together. I guess there are only some clues left over there. Zhao King sighed. All these people came to intercept Bai Xiaoyu on the way. Bai Xiaoyu's mother was probably in danger. Although Bai Xiaoyu is only a child, she is also a precocious child. Although she does not fully understand at this time, she also knows that something big is probably happening in her family. Therefore, her mood was very low along the way. Not long after walking, they arrived outside the Bai family's small yard. Because Bai Xiaoyu's parents were both fighting heroes, his father died in the battle and his mother was injured. Therefore, the pension provided by Jiuzhou is quite large, and her family's life is guaranteed. The courtyard door is only closed, but the door is open. Pushing the door open, there were obvious signs of a fight inside. Bai Xiaoyu couldn't bear it anymore and cried, Mom. However, no one responded to her. Son, your mother will be fine. The 9th Bureau will help you find her. Zhao King pulled Bai Xiaoyu and comforted her gently. Captain Yi checked around, then took out his phone and quickly made a call. Inform Qin Feng and the others to come to me immediately. There are major cases here that need their help in tracking. After Captain Yi finished speaking, he hung up the phone. She then said to Zhao King, take Bai Xiaoyu to your place to stay first. Leave it to us here. The other party hasn't gone far, and we can still catch up. Captain Yi was very confident, and her words made Liu Yun and the others feel a lot more stable. Okay. Zhao King knew that she couldn't help if she stayed here. She then said to Bai Xiaoyu, Xiaoyu, how about you go to your aunt's house with your aunt and wait until the uncles and aunt from the 9th game find your mother, and then pick you up? Bai Xiaoyu didn't speak, just nodded. She didn't know much, but she knew her mother was in danger and those weirdos wanted to catch her. You can only rely on people you can trust. And Liu Yun and the others are people she could trust. Before leaving, Zhao King said to Captain Yi again, "Call me as soon as you find the person." "Okay." Captain Yi nodded. Then, Zhao King left here with Liu Yun and Bai Xiaoyu. Along the way, the atmosphere was a bit heavy. Bai Xiaoyu choked with sobs along the way and cried into tears. On the way, Zhao King called Humei. After explaining that the Ninth Bureau was involved in this matter, Humei had no choice but to listen to Zhao King and let her take Bai Xiaoyu home. Otherwise, an ordinary person like him really wouldn't be able to handle these things. Back home, Zhao King arranged a separate room for Bai Xiaoyu to let her rest first. What Bai Xiaoyu needs now is just a quiet rest. After all, no matter how much comfort she received, it would be better to get news from her mother. When Bai Xiaoyu was resting, Zhao King said to Liu Yun, "Yuner, you weren't scared today?" "No." Liu Yun shook his head and then asked his mother, "Mom, what is a soul controller?" "Just practice martial arts with peace of mind. Generally speaking, if a martial Dao is powerful, it will be difficult for him to become a soul control master," Zhao King said seriously. She knew her son was extremely talented, but this was a different track after all. "Mom, isn't this okay?" Liu Yun said, controlling an ashtray on the coffee table in front of him with his mind. This ashtray was used by his father Liu Hong. Under his thoughts, the ashtray was suspended in mid-air, very stable. Seeing this scene, Zhao Qingren was dumbfounded. "Yuner, when did you know how to do this?" She couldn't believe that her son, who was only a few years old, could do this. "I was able to do it last year, but I didn't understand what it was at that time. I was a little scared and didn't dare to tell you." Liu Yun said nonsense seriously. "Yuner, this is a good thing. Let's put it down first. Mom, let me tell you what a soul controller is," Zhao King said happily. Not only is Liu Yun highly talented in martial Dao, he can actually become a soul control master. His son can not only inherit her husband's martial Dao, but also inherit his own soul control master ability. "Oh." Liu Yun responded and put the ashtray down. Zhao King told Liu Yun about the soul controller. The so-called soul control master uses soul power as the main control to control all things. Of course, if you want to control all things, you need extremely strong soul power. Soul controllers are classified according to star levels, with the highest being 9 stars. Every time you increase your strength by 1 star, your control over objects will increase exponentially. The best weapon for a soul control master is a hidden weapon. After all, hidden weapons and control skills are so compatible. However, if you reach the level of 6-star soul control master, you can control wild beasts. Controlling wild beasts will become your own help to fight against stronger enemies. Her mother, Zhao King, is only a 5-star soul control master now. According to what she said, she is still far away from being a 6-star soul master. To enhance soul power, a soul controller can only rely on meditation. Soul control masters have meditation skills. My mother was a 3-star soul control master at the beginning. She relied on practicing the skills and was promoted to 5 stars in 10 years. Chapter 16 Separation. After Liu Yun showed his talent to his mother Zhao King naturally hoped that he could become a soul control master. So, she went to get her meditation skills and gave them to Liu Yun. The name of this technique is Soul Meditation Method, which can be said to be very straightforward. Liu Yun took a brief look at the technique, which was used to meditate to enhance soul power. There's also a part of it that teaches how to use the soul power. Compared with the soul control method that Liu Yun had previously obtained from the system, this soul meditation method is more comprehensive. However, Liu Yun looked at the part that taught the use of soul power and found that it was still not as good as the soul control method. Perhaps this is a specialization in the art industry. The biggest function of this technique is to enhance the soul. Liu Yun just looked at it briefly and put it away first. His mother just asked him to read it by himself first, and if he didn't understand something, just ask her. Bai Xiaoyu was resting, and Zhao King also looked a little worried. She was a mother, and she could imagine the pain of a child losing his mother. She just prayed silently in her heart, hoping that the ninth game would not disappoint anyone and that Bai Xiaoyu's mother could be found. Time passed little by little, and when it got dark, Lu Hong also went home. After he returned home, Zhao King told Lu Hong what happened today. After hearing this, Lu Hong suddenly looked extremely serious. He said to Zhao King, "I also heard a bad news recently, saying that someone is doing research on fusing the power of beasts with people to directly create people in a short time. Create a powerful warrior. However, the animal nature of these created fusion warriors is uncontrollable. Is it possible that those people are looking for Bai Xiaoyu's mother because of this? What is the relationship between Bai Xiaoyu's mother and the fusion warrior?" Zhao King asked puzzledly. "I have heard a little bit about her mother. When the couple was attacked by a beast, the man died and the woman was seriously injured. She seemed to have absorbed the blood of the beast. Originally, she would have died from her injuries, but she miraculously survived. Except for the terrible scar, there seemed to be no problem. Now it seems that maybe it was because there was no problem that those people focused on her," Lu Hong said in a solemn tone. Zhao King became even more worried after hearing this. Because if this is the case, then the people of the Shadow Organization may mobilize a lot of manpower. Can the people of the Ninth Bureau track it? At this moment, Zhao King's cell phone suddenly rang. She picked up her phone and looked at it, seeing the name on the caller. Yilan. Yilan is the name of Captain Yi. "Captain Yi, is there any news?" Zhao King asked quickly after answering the phone. "Well, we found the person." Yilan's voice came from over there. "Found it." Zhao King was immediately overjoyed, and she asked again, "How is she now?" "She's in a coma now. We will send her for treatment. You can tell by Xiaoyu for the time being. When the treatment is completed, we will bring her mother to find her," Yilan said. "Okay." Zhao King finally breathed a sigh of relief. Liu Yun was also nearby. Hearing the news, he was also happy for Bai Xiaoyu. She is already miserable enough. If she loses her mother again, her life will be miserable in the future. "I'll go talk to Xiaoyu." Zhao King stood up and walked to Bai Xiaoyu's room. After Zhao King left, Lu Hong turned to Liu Yun and said, "Yuner, your time for martial arts training and meditation must be reasonably arranged in the future. If that doesn't work, you can reduce the time you spend reading." "Yes, I will arrange it." Liu Yun nodded. Liu Yun's task of reading thousands of books has come to an end. Once the task is completed, the time spent studying can be reduced. Yes, Lu Hong also believed that his son would make arrangements. After all, he had watched his son grow up in the past few years, and he knew best how worry-free his son was. Zhao King went in for a while before coming out, and then prepared dinner. During dinner, Bai Xiaoyu ate less. Although she knew she had found her mother, she was still worried because she still couldn't see her. The next day, Zhao King took Liu Yun and Bai Xiaoyu to school together. Humei also received a notice from the school, and Bai Xiaoyu would be temporarily taken away by Zhao King for the next few days. The school also received a notice from the Ninth Bureau and knew that Bai Xiaoyu had no one to take care of her now. The school needs to be grateful to have Zhao King help take care of it. In the next few days, Bai Xiaoyu stayed at Liu Yun's house. After returning home, she was also very well behaved and would help Zhao King with housework. Although Zhao King wouldn't let her do it in the end, it made Zhao King love the child even more. A week has passed in the blink of an eye. This day after school, when Liu Yun and Bai Xiaoyu walked out of the school, Bai Xiaoyu saw his familiar figure. Her mother came. Although there were two people from the ninth game with her mother, as well as Liu Yun's mother Zhao King. But at this time, she completely ignored those people and ran towards her mother. She threw herself into her mother's arms and cried with joy. "Mother, Xiaoyu, don't cry, Mom is fine." The woman patted Bai Xiaoyu's shoulder and comforted her gently. Although this woman had horrific scars on her face, her eyes were full of tenderness. After she comforted Bai Xiaoyu, she looked at Liu Yun again. "You are Xiaoyu's classmate, Liu Yun, right? Thank you these days. This is a small gift that Annie has prepared for you," she said, taking out a small box the size of a palm in her hand. "Auntie, I can't help you much, so I can't accept your gift." Liu Yun refused seriously. "Child, accept it. This gift will be helpful to you," she said seriously. At this time, Zhao King on the side said to Liu Yun, Yunner, take it. Thank you, Aunt Kin. This, seeing that his mother had already accepted it, Liu Yun took it with both hands and solemnly thanked him. Thank you, Aunt. After Liu Yun accepted it, Bai Xiaoyu's mother said to her again, Xiaoyu, say goodbye to classmate Liu Yun and Aunt Zhao. It's time for me to leave. Yeah, Bai Xiaoyu responded in a sweet voice, and then waved to Liu Yun and Zhao King. Auntie, Brother Yun, goodbye. Goodbye, kid. Her mother also said something to Liu Yun, and then took Bai Xiaoyu away. After they left, the two people from the ninth inning also left. Bai Xiaoyu seemed to sense something. After walking for a while, she looked back at Liu Yun. Liu Yun saw her turn back, smiled, and waved to her. Bai Xiaoyu waved again, then turned and left. After Bai Xiaoyu and the others left, Zhao King said to Liu Yun, Yunner, let's go. Mom, won't they come back? Liu Yun asked. Zhao King was silent for a moment, then nodded and responded in a low voice, yes. Chapter 17, Evolving Dantian. Liu Yun was silent on his way back. In fact, when he walked out and saw Bai Xiaoyu's mother and the two people from the ninth game, he roughly guessed it. Bai Xiaoyu's mother was targeted by that organization. She was saved this time, but what about next time? The people in the ninth game couldn't just let things go. If they had arranged a place for Bai Xiaoyu and his daughter, they would definitely leave here. Liu Yun can only hope in his heart that they can live happily and worry-free in the future. Back home, Liu Yun opened the gift from Bai Xiaoyu's mother in his room. Opening the box and looking at the contents inside, Liu Yun couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. It turned out to be a flesh bead. When I reached out and touched it, it was still bouncing around. The most important thing is that Liu Yun discovered that there was a message on the meat bead. Purified primary beast elixir. The elixir bead condensed by wild beasts is rich in nutrients and can be used for evolution. Purified? It means that the general beast elixirs are not purified. If they're not purified, do they have side effects? Liu Yun thought to himself. Liu Yun then no longer hesitated and drank the beast pill directly. Although this beast elixir is large, it melts in your mouth. Then, Liu Yun clearly felt powerful energy dissolving in his body. As the energy was absorbed, Liu Yun felt as if his Dantian had turned into a small stove. His evolution progress bar is rising, and his physique, strength, and agility are also growing. After a while, the evolution progress bar reached 100%. At this time, the hint of evolution also came. The third evolution is available. Please choose the part to evolve. Evolution option 1. Go to Dantian. Evolve successfully, Soul plus 20, Animal Control Technique. Evolution option 2. Middle Dantian. Successful evolution. Physical Strength plus 50, Immortal Diamond Art. Evolution option 3. Lower Dantian. Evolve successfully, Strength plus 30, Agility plus 30, Zhodian Key Entrainment Technique. Note, the upper, middle, and lower Dantian need to be completely evolved successfully before a new evolution can be carried out. This time, in addition to the 3 options, there is another prompt. This made Liu Yun think deeply. The last reminder means that this time I chose one of them, and the next time I evolve, I will choose between the other 2. After thinking about it, Liu Yun felt that there was no need to rush to choose a soul, especially the beast control technique. Now that I can't touch wild beasts, what's the point of controlling beasts? On the contrary, the 2 techniques of the middle Dantian and the lower Dantian interested him very much. However, Liu Yun thought for a moment and finally chose Zongdanshan. Immortal Diamond Technique is obviously a defensive technique. Liu Yun now practices offensive boxing techniques, and his physical body really needs to be strengthened. It is also a good choice to ensure your absolute safety and then slowly strengthen your offensiveness. Evolving Dantian. After making the decision, Liu Yun made his choice directly. After he finished his choice, he clearly felt that his physical body had changed. He seemed to be a few centimeters taller, and at the same time, he felt like he had gained more muscle. He also felt that his physical body had become much stronger. If an adult punched him at this time, he would never feel any pain. As for the Immortal Diamond Technique, after the evolution was successful, I immediately received the information about this technique and completely memorized it. Liu Yun gained these 50 points of physical fitness. Coupled with the previous changes, his own attributes have undergone huge changes. Liu Yun, 5 years old, race, human, physique, 125, soul, 32, strength, 75, agility, 81, comprehension, 40, evolution progress, 3%, achievements, human cub, success with every step, top leader in kindergarten. Martial skills, Kyushu basic boxing, full level. Taizu Chongquan, full level. Soul control method, full level. Wujikwan, full level. 8 extremities boxing, 9325/3000. Fengyun fist, 4163/3000. Soul meditation, December 2000. Immortal diamond technique, 0/5000. Looking at the proficiency of immortal diamond art, Liu Yun not only did not find it difficult, but also felt happy. After all, this proves that this technique is indeed very powerful. At this moment, there was a sound of mother knocking on the door outside. Yinner, it's time to eat. Oh, here it comes. Liu Yun stood up and walked out. He found that his father was back too. He had just devoured the meat bead and hadn't noticed that time had flown by so quickly. After the meal, Zhao King asked, Yinner, where's the gift your Aunt Qin gave you today? Liu Yun hesitated for a moment, but finally answered truthfully. Have eaten, because he felt that his mother knew what it was. Otherwise, she would not have let him accept it at that time. What? Didn't you feel any discomfort after eating it? Zhao King immediately reached out and touched his forehead with concern. After finding out that there was nothing wrong with him, he stopped. No, I feel quite comfortable, and my body feels stronger. Liu Yun said, Kinger, what is it? Lu Hong asked hurriedly. A beast pill is a purified beast pill. I originally wanted to let Yinner accept it and wait until he grows up before taking it. I am worried that if he takes it now, he will not be able to absorb the energy of the beast pill and he will be injured. Zhao King explained. There was a bit of pride in her tone. She felt proud because her son took the medicine at this time and did not feel any discomfort. This shows that his son is now stronger than he thought. Beast elixir? Or purified one? Who gave it to you? Lu Hong was shocked. Xiaoyu's mother. I don't know how she was purified, but there is indeed no violent aura in the beast pill. Zhao King explained. No wonder the people from the Shadow Organization want to arrest her. If you see her, how will the people in the 9th Bureau arrange for them? Lu Hong asked curiously. They should be sent to the Imperial Capital. In the Imperial Capital, people from the Shadow Organization don't dare to make mistakes, and other forces don't dare to take their chances. Zhao King said, The Imperial Capital? It seems that this matter is more important than I thought. Lu Hong sighed. Yinner, if you feel any discomfort in the next few days, you must tell us in time. Zhao King said, Yeah, I'll pay attention. Liu Yun nodded solemnly. The next day, I arrived at school. Humei told other students that Bai Xiaoyu had transferred to another school. This news had no impact on others. After all, many people have no contact with Bai Xiaoyu himself. Apart from Liu Yun, the one who cares more about this matter is Shang Lingling. Since Shang Lingling bullied Bai Xiaoyu and was stopped by Liu Yun, she and Bai Xiaoyu have been playing quite well. Bai Xiaoyu's departure is like losing a playmate to her. Chapter 18 Special Birthday Gift. Time passes day by day, and it's summer vacation in a blink of an eye. In 2 days, it will be Liu Yun's 6th birthday. On this day, Liu Yun finally completed his mission. Mission completed, Soul plus 15, achievement achieved, read thousands of books and traveled thousands of miles. Read thousands of books and travel thousands of miles. Comprehension plus 30, agility plus 30. What this achievement gave Liu Yun was stunned for a moment. He thought there would be a percentage bonus, but he didn't expect it to be a pure numerical value. However, he was satisfied because there is another very important value here. Comprehension. Liu Yun can now clearly feel the importance of understanding. But understanding is not like other attributes that can be obtained through practice. Yes, with the soul meditation method given by his mother, Liu Yun's soul power can also increase. It just increases very slowly. After this period of practice, he has discovered the pattern. That is, for every 500 points of proficiency in the soul meditation method, the soul power will increase a little. Growth is slow, but it can grow. As for understanding, what he has gained so far is all obtained from mission. And the level of understanding affects the speed of practicing the technique. Therefore, if we really want to say which of these attributes is most important, Liu Yun's current choice is comprehension. This task is completed and no new tasks appear. Maybe something was needed to trigger it, so Liu Yun wasn't in a hurry. After that day, Liu Yun found that his proficiency in practicing martial arts, whether it was boxing or meditation, had improved much faster. Not only that, it was also easier for him to remember the contents of the book when he was reading. During the summer vacation, Liu Yun still practiced very hard. Halfway through the holidays, this day happens to be Friday. When Liu Yun was practicing Feng Yun Fist, he punched a wooden mannequin, and then a reminder came. Mission completed, strength plus 10, agility plus 10, gained fist strength. After this prompt, Liu Yun punched the air. I only felt a terrifying force rushing out, like a strong wind, but more domineering than the strong wind. If this force hits the wooden man stake, Liu Yun has a premonition that he will punch it into pieces. Is this fist strength? It seems to make the boxing more destructive. Liu Yun murmured in his heart. He is so powerful now that he even wants to find a beast to try his hand at. But unfortunately, it is impossible for his parents to let him take risks. Even if he knew that he was stronger than some adult martial artists, he would not let him take this risk. After Liu Yun finished practicing, he briefly checked the changes in his attributes. Liu Yun, 5 years old, race, human, physique, 131, soul, 51, strength, 82, agility, 118, comprehension, 70, evolution progress, 50%, achievements, human cub, making a success with every step, top leader in kindergarten, reading thousands of books and traveling thousands of miles, martial skills, Kyushu basic boxing, full level, Taizu Chongquan, full level, soul control method, full level, Wajikwan, full level, 8 extremities boxing, 12534/3000, Feng Yun Fist, 7159/3000, soul meditation method, 2145-2000, immortal diamond technique, 1344-5000. At dusk, Liu Yun's parents came back from outside. Yes, my parents went out together today. It was my father's rare vacation recently, so I went to the world of 2 with my mother. Liu Yun was left at home. After his parents came back, his mother waved to him and said, "Yunner, I didn't give you a birthday gift on your birthday because it wasn't ready yet. Take a look, do you like it?" As the mother spoke, she took out a small cloth bag in her hand. This bag looks like the one used by old Chinese doctors to hold gold and silver needles when they practice medicine. Liu Yun vaguely guessed what the gift was. He opened it gently, and it was just as he guessed. The gift inside is none other than a row of small hidden weapons. There are 9 silver needles and 3 small flying knives. Thank you, Mom. Liu Yun was extremely happy that he finally got his own weapon. Although it is only a hidden weapon, this hidden weapon is indeed the most suitable for me at the moment. After all, he is a child now, and you can't give him a big knife. It will be inappropriate no matter how you look at it. There is no quenching poison on these hidden weapons. You're still too young now. If you want to quench the poison, you need to master the ability to make and detoxify it yourself. Mother said seriously. That's enough, Liu Yun said confidently. You know, his soul has now reached 51 points, which is a little weaker than his mother's. Coupled with the powerful control power of his soul control method, a flying knife in his hand can be used as a murderous weapon. Of course, Liu Yun was not a murderous maniac. He was just keeping this for self-defense. If you really encounter an enemy like the Shadow Organization, consider taking action again. You can take these with you because Dad believes in you, but you can't use them to hurt ordinary people. You can only use them when you encounter enemies who do evil things. Do you understand? Lu Hong said to Liu Yun seriously. Yes, Yunner understands. Liu Yun nodded solemnly. This is why Liu Yun is really different from ordinary people. Otherwise, how could ordinary people dare to let their children carry such hidden weapons? Okay, put away and get ready for dinner. I bought some fish and shrimp today, Lu Hong said gently. Although the couple went out to live in a world of 2, it was certainly impossible to really forget their son. On this day, perhaps because of the hidden weapon, Liu Yun felt that eating was much more delicious than usual. Time is like the wind, passing by unconsciously. In the blink of an eye, the new semester has arrived. However, Liu Yun and the others no longer go to kindergarten, but to elementary school. These students from Shanghai Kindergarten were promoted to Shanghai Elementary School, a martial Dao elementary school. After all, these children are 6 years old and can learn some basic martial arts. As a primary school established with the support of the true martial ministry, Shanghai Primary School has the best martial arts foundation. On the first day of school, Zhao King sent Liu Yun to Shanghai Primary School, which was less than 1 kilometer away from her home community. When he arrived at the elementary school, Liu Yun found that there were indeed many people. This can better help him complete the task of reading countless people. When registering, Liu Yun and her son met old acquaintances again, Shang Lingling and her mother. When Shang Lingling saw Liu Yun, she immediately came up to say hello with a smile and called out in a sweet voice, "Brother Yun." Brother Xing Yun is a special title when he is in front of adults. Privately, she calls Liu Yun nerd. Yunner has grown much taller again and is going to become a handsome boy. Shang Lingling's mother teased from his side. "Hello, Aunt." Liu Yun greeted politely. "Hello, sister-in-law Yang." Zhao King also said hello. After all, the merchant was so kind to Liu Yun at the beginning. Later, the merchant and the Liu family often moved around, and Zhao King and Shang Lingling's mother became familiar with them. Chapter 19 New Mission. When the registration ended, Liu Yun and Shang Lingling were assigned to the same class as expected. After the registration ended, the two mothers chatted alone and left. Liu Yun and the others went to their own classes to wait for new books to be distributed and attend class. The moment Liu Yun stepped into the class, he received a reminder. Trigger the mission, the God of Study in primary school. During primary school, make sure that your grades in every subject are the first in grade. After primary school, each attribute will be plus 20 and you will get a mysterious gift package. After receiving this task, Liu Yun was overjoyed. Sure enough, the new mission will not be triggered until elementary school. Each attribute is plus 20 and the mysterious gift package sounds pretty good. It's just that the mission cycle is a bit long, taking 6 years. Liu Yun only hopes that within these 6 years, he can trigger some tasks for himself so that his life will not be too boring. When starting a new class life, the first thing is naturally a routine self-introduction. Compared with those in kindergarten, these children today appear to be much more courageous. Because the families of these children are all martial Dao families, they're not shy people because of the influence of their parents. However, Liu Yun still became the most outstanding one in the class on the first day. There is no way. He has too many advantages over these children. Both appearance and interior are advantages. Therefore, in the first class, the teacher asked Liu Yun to be the monitor of their class. There are some differences between the elementary school in this world and the elementary school in Liu Yun's previous life. First of all, there are 2 more courses, a martial Dao course and a brutal beast theory course. Moreover, these are also the 2 most important courses. Others, such as Chinese and mathematics, have become side subjects. The most important thing in this world is martial Dao and the understanding of brutal beasts, because savage beasts are the first danger you have to face after stepping out of the greenhouse given to you by your family and country. And martial Dao is a means to ensure one's own safety. Although they were just a group of children, after learning the theory, they began to learn Kyushu basic boxing from a teacher. It would be a waste of time for Liu Yun to learn this Kyushu basic boxing technique now. However, Liu Yun had no choice but to accept this. Liu Yun had to pretend to be following along. In the blink of an eye, Liu Yun has been in primary school for a week. At the end of class that day, martial Dao's teacher stopped him. "Liu Yun, come with me." "Okay, teacher you." The teacher in martial Dao's class is named Yu Yang, and he is very capable. Although not as good as Liu Yun's father, his 3 attributes of physique, strength, and agility are still around 150. Liu Yun followed Yu Yang to the office. After Yu Yang sat down, he asked, "Have you ever practiced Kyushu basic boxing with your parents before?" "I've practiced," Liu Yun admitted readily. Because Yu Yang asked him this, he must have seen it. Rather than continue to hide it and let yourself continue to pretend in the future, it is better to say it directly. After hearing this, Liu Yun smiled and said, "You can teach me a set of Kyushu basic boxing techniques here." "Yes." Liu Yun hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Is he hesitating how much truth he should show? After a brief hesitation, he decided to go full display. Only by fully demonstrating it will you not have to waste extra time in the future. Liu Yun performed the Kyushu basic boxing technique in this small office, and every punch was very charming. It's like an old boxer who's been immersed in boxing for decades. Liu Yun was also stunned. He knew that among the children who came to Shanghai Primary School, the probability of being a genius was extremely high. However, there are also grades of genius. Looking at the boxing skills displayed by Liu Yun, he thought that this must be the top genius. Even in the imperial capital, he probably wouldn't have such an incredible talent. After Liu Yun's boxing demonstration ended, he said to Liu Yun, "Teacher Yu, my demonstration is over. You don't have to practice with everyone in the future. You can practice the boxing you were practicing in private, or read the Boxing Sutra." Liu Yun said seriously, "The Boxing Sutra? Is it the Boxing Sutra written by Lin Shang?" Liu Yun asked. "Well, the Boxing Classic teaches people how to use boxing and boxing techniques. This is a book that is often read and updated. It is useful for people who practice boxing at that stage. Elementary schools cannot teach you higher boxing techniques now. It will be most appropriate for you to read the Boxing Classic. You can borrow the Boxing Classic in the school library. I think you seem to be fully literate. If you need it, I can borrow it for you." Liu Yun wrote, "Then I'll trouble you, Teacher Yu." Liu Yun said gratefully.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.